Hey, all right, there we go. So we are live. Got the new camera set up, so hopefully it doesn't shake as much as it has been doing. So let's see here. Jump into the driver averages. Had an issue with that. The site I normally go to, I guess, either no longer exists or is down for maintenance. So we will. I guess I should chat check first to make sure that's working. Definitely working on y'all's end, so that is good. Let's see here. Actually, the best the best driver averages here are guys that some of them are not even with us driving in the Cup Series anymore. But Kyle Busch is the best with an average finish of 6.3. Let's see. And he won it in 2013, 2014, and 2019. And let's see here. They're giving him odds of he's plus 1,000 odds wise. So pretty good odds for him. Eric Jones is actually second with an average finish of 10.2. And let's see where his odds are at. Eric Jones. Eric Jones. Eric Jones is down here at plus 3,000. So your second best average finish is down there at plus 3,000. And average finish is about the best I've got here. Eric Jones' best finish here was third in 2021. And he had a seventh in 2018 as well. Next on the list is Kurt Busch. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was actually second on the list. Kurt Busch was fourth on the list. Then you got Joey Logano with an average finish of 10.6. And his best finish here has been a second in 2019. It's not showing me the 2022 results, but I think obviously Kyle Larson won that one if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Where is Joey Logano at? Oh, there he goes. Joey Logano is at plus 1,200. So there you go. I don't know. This isn't a good. I don't like this stats view here, so we're just going to jump into it. Also, it is the birthday of the channel, so the channel's been around since, I guess, technically since 2019, but I started actually uploading every day in 2020. Not every day, but mostly every day in 2021. So there we go. All right, let's jump into the comments. 20% chance of rain the rest of the day, according to the Google weather app. So that's definitely a big story. Will they actually get it in? That's from Bumblebee, of course. Will they actually get it in? That is a good question. I don't know. You also have to worry about the weepers on the track. That's where the track cracks, and the water leaks down the side of the deal. So that's definitely going to be an issue. If it weeps, will they be able to stop it? Will they be able to drill it and relieve it, or will they be able to just cap it? So that'll be something else to look at. Let's see. Joseph Wooten says, I hope so. If not, they are not racing until Thursday. So apparently weather is going to be a situation until Thursday down there, according to Joseph. Red X Raider says, hey, it's my birthday too. Happy birthday to the channel. Appreciate it, Red X Raider. Bent Christer Johansson says, happy 4th anniversary. And then he's got some Norwegian there. I don't want people to hear my Norwegian accent because it's absolutely terrible, but I appreciate it, Bent. Let's see here. What's up, everyone? Is there going to be racing today? Says T-Van. I think they'll definitely get the Cup race in. Dennis Gillespie says, aloha, everybody. What's up, Dennis? What's up, Hawaii? I have Bowman in my lineup. Bumblebee, says Cassandra Keller. So let's see if we can find Bowman's numbers here. Where is Bowman at? Oh, nope. Good job. I just closed it out. We'll find Bowman on the guest list though here. Bowman is plus 2,000, so he's obviously got some pretty decent numbers there. So he's at plus 2,000. I'm using DraftKings for that. Not sponsored, not promoting, not telling anybody to go over there and look at it, but I got to pull numbers from somewhere. So that's where I'm pulling my betting stuff from. A lot of people asked that last time, so that's where I get my numbers from, just because that's the easiest one, I guess, that everybody has access to. So that's where my numbers for the Vegas lines come from, or whatever. Elliot's going to put Larson in the wall for the win. Says Joey for the win. We'll see. That would be interesting. Stephen D'Amelio, what's up, buddy? Mark Barnum says Harvick for the win for the last race for him and the track. Yeah, that would be cool, right? So I'm leaning towards all the California kids all the California drivers. Harvick's obviously not a kid, but all the California drivers in this one. So I'd look for Larson Reddick, Kevin Harvick to be strong. AJ Allmendinger, sneaky California guy, but he's from California too. Let's see here. Bumblebee says, "What's up, Cassandra Keller? Happy birthday, Red X Raider." Yeah, once again, happy birthday, Red X Raider. He shares a birthday with the channel. Let's see. Josh Strickland says, "What's up?" and happy birthday to the channel. What's up? And Mark Barnum, what's up to you too? Dennis Gillespie says, "Happy birthday to the channel." Appreciate it, Dennis. Let's see here. Anthony at Auto Club Speedway. What's up, Baloney? Currently at Auto Club Speedway. Let me tell you, this looks like a sold out crowd. The amount of people here today is more than previous years for sure. Holy cow. So that's cool. So that's very interesting, right? A lot of people have had a lot to say about attendance at Auto Club Speedway, attendance at Fontana, Fontucky, as some people refer to it, because it's so far away from, I guess, a big main city or something like that. I don't know. But this one is sold out, and it shows that the people in the area do care about the racetrack, and it shows that there are a lot of NASCAR fans there. And for whatever reason, it hadn't had good attendance before this, and it's not the only track that has had issues with attendance, so I'm not going to put that on California fans. A lot of people are trying to put that on California fans, but literally you can put that on fans everywhere. I've seen every track not sell out. So the fact that it's sold out today is good, and I think it's going to be one of the most watched races of the season, because this is possibly a farewell to that track altogether. A lot of people are speculating, because of the way things go in California with real estate and land, and NASCAR dragging its feet, not having a clear plan. A lot of people are speculating that this could possibly be the last race over there in California. So that's going to be interesting to look at too. So just a lot of stuff going on, but it's definitely the last race until at least 2025, I would say. If they ever get it reconfigured and whatever. So it's going to be very interesting to take a look at that. Napa Racing Fan 927 says double header at Auto Club today. So yeah, that's going to be cool too. You got the Xfinity race. I was about to call it the Busch Series. You got the Xfinity Series race after the Cup race at nighttime, and I think the Xfinity Series race is going to start at 8:00 if everything goes to plan. So that's going to be interesting. Let's see here. Rich L saying, "Good morning, y'all. What's up, Rich? Hope you're doing good today." Mark Barnon says, "The Weepers in California, go figure." Not going to touch that one. Going to stick to racing today for the most part if I can. Let's see here. Bumblebee says, "What's up, Rich L?" Josh Strickland says, "Look like they're going to run with the weeping yesterday." Yeah, so as long as it's not weeping too bad, as long as it doesn't unsettle the cars, I don't think the weepers will be a huge issue. I don't know about, a track like this where you're carrying this much speed, but I know at some of the local short tracks that I've helped with, we've run with weepers before, and it just depends on where it's weeping at. And sometimes it will upset the car, sometimes it won't. It just depends on the track, depends on where you're racing at and stuff like that. Let's see. Bowman won here in 2020, says Bumblebee. So there you go. 2020, Alex Bowman got the job done. Rusty Beechwood says, "What's happening, BB and race fans? Will we get the cup in cup race in today? You got to believe. I think they'll get the cup race in. I'm concerned about the Xfinity Series race. The Xfinity, those guys might be racing on Wednesday, or Thursday. So that's going to be interesting." Escobar says, "Happy birthday to the channel." Appreciate it. Napa Racing Fan also saying happy birthday to the channel. Thank y'all. Aldous Carosa says, "Hey BB, for Fontana, why not make it a 3/5 mile, 24 degree banked Bristol Martinsville hybrid?" I forgot the two tracks that it's sort of supposed to be a hybrid of, but Martinsville is one of them because it's got the narrow turns, and I do know it's got banking. So I do think that the original, I think according to Eric Eastup, he had some information from I guess Adam Stern or something, where they said they have changed it because they showed a picture of the original format or configuration of how they were going to do it. And then they had already switched it to something different. But the original format is supposed to be, I think, a Bristol Martinsville hybrid, where they've got the high banks, but they've got really tight turns, which if you've got really tight corners, it's not going to drive anything like Bristol. So you're, in my opinion, you're probably not going to be able to use the banking. So I think it's actually going to just drive more like Martinsville. It's just going to have a lot of banking because there's a track called Southern National, Kinley around here. It's really high. It's a really high bank track, but the turns are so tight that it doesn't matter because you can't carry enough speed to roll the center. So it pretty much just drives like a one groove. So the only difference between that and Martinsville is probably the groove would be moved up sort of in the middle a little bit or something like that. So I don't know. I think it'll drive like Martinsville if they do that particular layout, but that's just my thoughts on it. I don't know. I mean, go for it. Do what they got to do. Napa Racing Fan says 9:27. It's gonna be tonight. Well, if they ended on a night race, that's pretty cool too. It's a shame that just like Ontario Motor Speedway, that was only 2 miles away from Auto Club Speedway, another big track there disappears. Yes, that's a good. A lot of people probably don't even remember Ontario Speedway. I'm one of them. I just happened to see like some old races on YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, Ontario Speedway!" So immediately I thought Canada. But that track was really close to Fontana as well. It's in California, by the way. It's not Ontario, Canada, where that track's at. But so yeah, that's two tracks in basically the same region that they've lost pretty quickly. And Riverside is not like a super far ways away from them either. Riverside, I guess, a little bit closer to San Diego, but that Southern California area has technically lost three tracks in a pretty similar area. At least similar if you're traveling to the races. Napa Racing Fan 927 says, alert, Washington versus Stanford is on FS1 tonight. Xfinity Auto Club will be on FS2 tonight at 8 p.m. So appreciate that, Napa Racing Fan. That is a good point. You're going to need FS2 to watch it, which I don't have, so I'll be following along on MRN. So we'll check that one out on the radio. Mark Wachowski says, give the Fontana date to Rockingham. Yeah, so there's plenty of tracks. A lot of people have said Rockingham. A lot of people have said North Wilkesboro for an actual points race at North Wilkesboro. So there are a lot of tracks that would like to get that date, and it'll be interesting to see where they take it, where it goes. There's tons of options that NASCAR has there. Do they try to keep it on the West Coast? Do they repave a track out there? I know Mesa Marin is gone. They tore that one down. I don't know. There's some options out there in California though, where they could revamp some tracks that would be cheaper than rebuilding the Coliseum every year. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that date. TJ Morshead says, "Hey BB, have a strong feeling. Today's finish will make up for the shabby final lap at Daytona last week. I hope so. I hope it's a really good race, and I hope there's no controversy to it. I just hope it's a fun weekend where we're talking about the racing, because I'm as guilty of it as anybody else. Although I did make one video where I introduced it talking about Ricky Stenhouse and Brad Daugherty getting that win. Really, the focus should have been on Ricky Stenhouse and Brad Daugherty and JTG Daugherty getting that win as a single car team. A big, huge win for Ricky Stenhouse, who has a lot of doubters and things like that. And Brad Daugherty becoming the first African-American owner to win a Daytona 500. That should have been what all the conversation, like NASCAR wants to talk about diversity. They almost completely ignored that until like midweek. I think it was Wednesday before I saw an actual proper article about Brad Daugherty's accomplishment there as a team owner. You always hear about Michael Jordan. Brad Daugherty's been doing it for decades now. So I don't know. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And Hot Rod Williams, as far as the basketball deal, he's on the drag, or was at one time on the drag racing side. So I don't know. I felt like that should have been the bigger story, but NASCAR, PR 101, if you don't want to talk about something, ignore it and talk about something you do want to talk about. NASCAR took the bait and just kept talking about the TV stuff. Fox took the bait and kept talking about the TV stuff. So it was nothing but TV stuff all week, whereas we should have been celebrating Ricky Stenhouse and JTG Daugherty and Brad Daugherty's accomplishments there. And once again, I'm guilty of it as anybody else, but once NASCAR doubled down, I had to make that other video. So it is what it is. I do try to stay positive. Fellas, it's kind of a hot take, but NASCAR tracks need to only have one race date. And I missed the rest of it. Here it is. Look at every other motorsport has only one race date. Yeah, so that's a movement that's been going. I don't mind it. I do think there are some tracks that still need two events. Like I would keep 2 events at Daytona, keep 2 events at Talladega, but everywhere else, two events at Martinsville and 2 events at, because Martinsville is the oldest track. But everywhere else, I would two events at Bristol as long as both events are on the concrete. Uh, but everywhere else, actually, you can take one event away from Bristol because they weren't selling the day race. If you have two night events at Bristol, I guess keep it that way. But yeah, I'm with you because that gives you the opportunity to move into other areas and you don't have to worry about it. So, I would be down with that. No doubt. What year was the track built? Larry Mack said hasn't been repaved since '97. It was built in '97, Josh Strickland, and it has not been repaved since '97, and that's why it's starting to race really good because basically the track is starting to weather in, and when it starts eating tires, that's when the guys actually have to drive the cars and race. So Mark Wachowski says he's going with the number 8, the number 22, the number 17, and the number 43 thrown in for a dark horse. I like those picks, Mark. I definitely like Kyle Busch and Joey Logano there. And I definitely like, let's see, I definitely like Eric Jones as the sleeper. I would swap out the 17 of Busher. I would definitely swap him out with Kyle Larson. That's just me, and I'm not just going by the numbers. Or Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick's another good pick here. But the RFK guys have been fast, other than the Clash, which they probably didn't even try, spend a lot of R&D money on that because it's just such a poo fest over there. So I doubt they spent a ton of R&D money on that, but they've been good at all the tracks that matter. When the points are on the line, RFK has turned that program around. So I do expect to see some wins from them this year. And Brad Keselowski's been fast too, so don't sleep on Brad Keselowski. He has a gorgeous King's Hawaiian paint scheme for this, where it's orange with a gold number. I'm really looking forward to seeing that car on the track. So hopefully they get it in today, no doubt. Good week to be in Vegas. Next week, the World 10 Ball Pool Tourney and NASCAR next weekend, says Mark Barnum. I think it's always a good week to be in Vegas, to be, as long as you're visiting, totally honest. Let's see here. Rusty Beechwood and Ontario, like you just mentioned. Talking about Ontario got taken away. Dennis Gillespie says, sad to hear Greenville Pickens Speedway is gone. It was the first track to be televised completely. Yeah, that does stink for sure. And Slap Shoes, I think that's his home track, if I'm not mistaken. So he's pretty bummed out about that. He made a pretty funny video about it. But his video is, aside from being funny, his video is accurate. Like this booming real estate stuff has got to stop. We're going to lose every track if they keep this crap up. Napa Racing Fan 927, Mother Nature was crying before NASCAR is destroying a 2-mile auto club. There's a lot of people that's been saying that. The reason that there's rain and snow in California is because Mother Nature is crying that they're losing such a good track. And it has raced well here recently. There have been races there that were very boring where somebody walked away with the lead. So let's present it fairly. But recently it has raced very well. There's no doubt about that. TJ Moorshed says, let's take down the Auto Club seats and rebuild them around Pikes Peak International in Colorado. So that's a track that they used to race at with the Xfinity Series, no doubt about that. So that's one track that could work if NASCAR wants to redo something and do that. Pikes Peak is a great motorsports area. They got the Pikes Peak hill climb and the Pikes Peak actual racetrack as well, the short track. So that would be a good option as well. Alda says, what TV network should broadcast the whole season for all 3 series? I say it should either be CBS, ABC, along with free streaming on YouTube. I do think they need to go to a streaming option. I think they need to basically cut the price in half and sell half of it to streaming and sell half of it to ABC, NBC, or Fox, or whoever, CBS. I don't know. It's hard to say because they can all do a good job. I've seen NBC do a good job. I've seen Fox do a good job. Right now, they're not doing, neither one of them, in my opinion, is doing a good job. If you go with the partner that values NASCAR the most, I think that would be the most important thing, because we've seen any of these companies, they're able to broadcast proper sports broadcasting. They've been able to do good things with their broadcast as long as it's a priority. Like, so wherever it goes, it just needs to be a priority because they're all capable of putting on a good broadcast. They just haven't done it recently because it's not a priority. The only thing that these networks have cared about recently is football, and that's it. They don't put any effort into anything else anywhere from what I've seen. So that's just my take on it. Ken Bogues says, "Happy birthday to the channel. I appreciate what you do. You keep a nice balance of positive and negative aspects of NASCAR, where other channels tend to be overly positive or overly negative. Keep it up." I appreciate it, Ken. I just I do try to stay positive because it's just so easy to be negative. I could make like 10 negative videos a day, right? Like I can complain all day, right? I'm a crotchety old man, but I tried to put the positive spin on it too, because that's one of the main reasons I wanted to have this channel, is to have something to talk about, with other NASCAR fans, and to get like some fans, maybe get some fans into the sport. And if you're just always talking about how bad it is, you're not going to attract anybody to the sport. So I do try to point out the positive stuff when there is positive stuff. Auto Club was built in '97. It's as old as me, but the track broke ground for building in 1984, says Alice. So there you go. They broke ground in '94. Oh, he corrected it, '94. So there you go. They broke ground in '94. So yeah, they broke ground in '94. Wasn't completed until '97, and has not been repaved since 1997. So it's all good. Robert Mark says, "I'm old, so I forgot to lick the like button. Thumbs up on the video." So I appreciate y'all. If y'all want to hit the like button, that would be much appreciated. JD Mayo says, there we go. Where is it? I wish they were able to get the Xfinity race in today for the afternoon. Yeah, I hope they get it in too. Ontario Motor Speedway in California was called IMS of the West Coast. Yeah, it was. I do remember that. It had it wasn't exactly like Indy though, in my opinion. It looked more like the original layout of Miami, if that makes any sense. So it reminded me, which Miami wasn't there back in the day, obviously. Bones with the shout out, man. Appreciate the super chat there, Bones. Thank you very much for that as well. Yeah, but it reminded me of the original Miami layout for sure. And it got the dancing cow there. I do like the little dancing cow. That's pretty cool. Let's see. The hometown boy, the number 8, will take it today, says free to pay. So yeah, Tyler Reddick's definitely going to get in there. He's going to be a hard one. I'm sorry, Kyle Busch will definitely be hard. Oh man, I knew that would happen. First time this year. Yeah, but Kyle Busch he's got the best numbers there, so I definitely expect him to be tough there. But Tyler Reddick's another one I expect to be tough there. I don't think he's won a California race yet, and he being from California, that's up there high on his priority list. And every once in a while, those 2311 cars, they put something on those cars where those things just take off on these 1.5-mile type tracks. So don't sleep on the 45. That is the ugliest monster paint scheme I have ever seen. Now, they're going the route of Four Locos by putting the sauce in the energy drink. So it might have devastating effects on the monster community, but goodness gracious, that car is ugly as sin. Like they took a good looking all black paint scheme and found a way to mess it up. Like the logo on the can is cool. Everything about it should be cool, but they found a way to screw that one up. And nothing against whoever designed it. I'm sure you had constraints on it as to what Monster wanted to do, but Monster, that is an ugly freaking car, bro. Rob Dutzer says, I see CBS taking it serious. If their coverage is half as good as SRX coverage is, it would be great for the sport. I agree with you. I really enjoy the SRX coverage, and that's what I'm saying. SRX is something that they take serious, right? So you see how good the product is, and that's all I'm saying about NASCAR. Any of these, companies, if they took NASCAR serious, the broadcast would be much better. Galactopus, what's up, man? Does anyone know what configuration the short track version of Auto Club will be? I think they should do some sort of unique short track configuration, like progressively banked half-mile bull ring. So they're the original. We don't know what the schematic probably, I guess, looks like now, but they've changed it twice. But the original schematic and format was supposed to be basically a Martinsville with high banking. So that's going to be interesting. So that would be unique. And I don't know how that would race, but I assume it would still be one groove because you wouldn't be able to use the banking from similar tracks that I've seen like that. But the one groove would be higher up. Because if it makes any sense, you would use some of the banking, so it wouldn't be as you wouldn't be hugging the bottom like Martinsville, but it would still be one groove, and you would still have to move people to get them out of the way. So it would be a Bristol Martinsville hybrid, very much in that sense, but it would still be similar to Bristol and Martinsville, where you got to use the bumper to make passes. Let's see. Cassandra Keller says, just lick that like button. Appreciate it, Cassandra. Mark Wachowski says, how does it taste? The like button tastes like Monster and Freedom. That's what it tastes like. Claude Alvila says, SRX is now on ESPN. Yeah, and I'm sure the coverage will, I'm sure it'll still be good as long as it's valued product that they've got over there. That's all relative to how well the network values it. And I think ESPN spending money on it the first year, it'll definitely be a valuable property to them. Bumblebee says y'all like the stream. Support BB and us. Awesome, good looking moderators like me and Rich L. That's right, best looking moderators in the game. Let's see here, Enzo. I'm just going to go Enzo because I think I'm going to mess that name up again. Almost 10K, bud. Keep at it. You got this. I appreciate it, Enzo. I will keep at it. And thank y'all for supporting the channel as well. Rob Dutcher says, I didn't realize that. Race fans need to visit their local tracks to keep them open. They tore down BIR in Birmingham. That was a historic racetrack, one of the oldest in U.S. NASCAR. Used to run there also. Yeah, I remember that Birmingham track getting tore down. I remember that being sort of like a big deal because I think, I got another super chat. Jared Block, appreciate it, man. 100% on that car being ugly as hell. Says Gerard Bach. Sorry about that. But yeah, that car is like, oh God, like the monster cars are usually pretty good looking. Like they're flat black and it's hard to mess that up. Don't get me wrong, but like they found a way to screw that one up. Like it's butt ugly, man. Like it might be a good product, but that car is not going to make me want to buy like some of it. The Weepers might get us today, says Talladega Tom. I hope not. Like I hope not. I hope they find a way to. Typically, they drill them out or cut the concrete so they weep faster and just get all that excess. Because what it is, it's just excess water backed up, and then you get it all out and you're good to go. Talladega Sam says it looks cold at Fontana right now, low 40s. So that's another issue, right? Even if they do get to race today, which I'm hoping, will the tires get enough temperature in them to grip to the track? So that's going to be another factor we have to look at. My kid, Ryan Fussner says, my kids have been sick and it's been pouring down rain here in Nashville. I really wish NASCAR wasn't rained out this weekend. Yeah, me too. It's a bummer, but I'm really hoping they get it in. Like there's a chance we get it in. So hopefully they get it in. I feel like the Jersey Shore. Got to get it in. Got to get it in. Get it in. Can I say that 10 more times? Tan Dog says, what's up? Just wanted my pick Jones in the Petty 43. So Tan Dog, he's actually got really, really good numbers here, and I'm with you. He's my underdog pick, and I've got Larson obviously as what I'm picking with my heart. But by the numbers, I'm going with Kyle Busch. Because just by the numbers, the other person you would want to pick by the numbers here is Joey Logano. So just the numbers I was able to pull up, like I said earlier, my regular site has either gone under or they're going through maintenance, getting the 505 message on that channel. Ryan Fussner says definitely an ugly monster paint scheme. Yeah, so NASCAR fans have come together on two things: too many commercials, and that monster paint scheme is not beautiful. Fun fact: California Speedway was the location of a steel factory, and Terminator 2. Oh, what's up? That's cool. Terminator 2 was a good one. I can't remember if it was Terminator 2 or Terminator 3, but the one where the guy is made out of the shiny silver metal and he can morph into anything. That was my favorite Terminator. Let's see. Mark Barnum Auto Club needs to be configured into a 5/8 mile slinger, and that was Escobar with the factory thing. I forgot to say his name. Mark Barnum says Auto Club needs to be configured into a 5/8 mile slinger track. That would be cool. I would like to see a slinger type. Why don't they just race at slinger though? Also, just put some seats in. I agree on the monster scheme. I could have designed a better scheme, says T Van. I agree. How about a smaller version of Pocono? I think that would be cool, says Dennis Gillespie. Yeah, so like maybe Pocono would be there would be more passing in Pocono if you didn't have the long straightaways. I would like to see a triangle track to see a shorter triangle track to see how that plays out. I don't know if we'll get that though. William Wagaman says, morning, Baloney Burger. All the fans of NASCAR for a couple of days turn Fontana into a road course. That should stir up a few comments. Yeah, I think with Chicagoland, everybody went anti-road course quick because they lost the. Oh man, here we go. They're going to Road America. They lost Road America. All I could see was ROA in my head. But yeah, we lost Road America, and a lot of fans turned on that because of that. A lot of fans turned on it because they don't want to go to Chicago. So just not a lot of positive stuff no positive vibes for the Chicago street course, and it's turned a lot of people against road courses altogether. So yeah, for sure. Sonny V, Rusty nails it. NASCAR could be so much better. I agree. It could be so much better, 100%. It's like right on the cusp of being really, really good, like it was in the 90s, but they just keep doing stuff to push it further away. Like the interest, in my opinion, is there. People want to watch it, but people don't want to watch the product that they keep pushing down our throats on us, in my opinion. Here's how to fix the restart policy in overtime. If there is a caution within 10 to go, there will be a 15-minute time shootout, single file restarts at road courses, dirt, and super speedways. That's one way of doing it. I just like the way of, if you're gonna, I like it. I'm fine with it ending under yellow personally, but also if you're gonna do a green white checkers, just do it one time. You get one chance at it, because otherwise guys are just gonna wreck and be hyper aggressive. But if they know that they wreck a car and that ends the race and they finish where they finish, they'll drive like they got some sense. JD Mayo says Bally Sports is bankrupt, so I don't see them covering any racing. Racing Fox is where it's at. So there you go. Bally Sports, for those who don't know, has gone bankrupt. I forgot who told me that earlier this week, but I wasn't aware of that. But that's a fact. They have gone under. Rusty Beechwood, this is a Cali and NASCAR pattern. When they start looking for more money, they'll go back to building a normal track, just like Auto Club, to replace this reconfiguration disaster, says Rusty Beechwood. So that's a fair point. Eventually they will have to listen to the fans, because at the end of the day, the fans are who pay the bills. And a lot of people will be like, no, they just take the TV money. That's true to an extent, but the TV money doesn't come in if the fans don't watch. So the fans will drive it. So eventually they will have to get back to listen to the fans. No doubt about it. Housing development money overrides their plans every 20 years there, says Rusty Beechwoods. Hey, yep. A booming real estate market, right? So, there you go. Why does Reddick's car have that eye on the side of it? LOL, says Bumblebee. Because it's the beast. It's the monster beast. So, it's got the adult Kool-Aid in it, or the adult what is it? Adult grape juice in it, or whatever. Alcohol. It's got alcohol in it now. Let's see. Joey for the win says unleashing the beast. Yeah, that's for sure. That car is beastly, and they definitely unleashed it. Let's see here. Aldous Carosa, and just the alcohol voice. When I was in the DARE program in the 5th grade, that's what the and here we go. This is going to be a yellow stripe, but I don't care. That's what the guy teaching the DARE program, drugs and alcohol. I was like, he says alcohol weird, so it was. It's just a Southern thing. Some people say it. Some people say it like that. So it is what it is. But always, every time I hear the word alcohol, I think of the way he said alcohol. Yeah, it was something else. There you go. Story you didn't ask for. Moving right along. What time is the race supposed to start? Supposed to start at 3:30. T-Van, according to the website. But then again, we know the Daytona 500 started way later than they said it would. After yesterday, we got to rename the old song, It Never Snows in Southern California. That's a fact, Bumblebee. William Wagaman Van, if you East Coast, 347. So, yeah. Aldous says, Outer Club Speedway, keep the D-shaped layout, 3/5 mile, 14 and 18, progressively banked. Yeah, I don't know if the progressive banking is going to work in the future, though, but it's definitely working for this particular car right now. So that's been interesting to watch, too. That's like the only success has been this car on 1.5 miles on progressive banking. Auto Club was the location of Ford versus Ferrari and Herbie Fully Loaded, by the way. It was also, it's been in, that's from Aldous. It's also been in Burn Notice, the Burn Notice where they're at the racetrack. That's Auto Club Speedway, and it's also been in the Fast and the Furious, the one where he flips the car a bunch of times. Part of that was shot at Auto Club Speedway as well. Escobar says on the shorter triangle track, there's not one far from Pocono, which the Xfinity Series went to, and that is Nazareth. So Nazareth is, you're right. Nazareth is a little bit of a triangle. That's true. I hadn't thought about that. Josh Strickland, what's the popular options on Chicago road course? I'm kind of optimistic with the new car. I mean, look, I'm thinking road courses don't race good anyway. But that being said, I hope I'm totally wrong about it. I hope it's like one of the best races of the season. I hope I'm totally wrong. But typically, I think it's because it's a street course. Street courses usually do not race well, whereas road courses race way better than street courses for whatever reason. I don't know why that is. It's just the way it is. I guess it's because they have to make the turns so tight. But everything in your mind about a street race is like, oh, that thing's going to be so cool. But at the end of the day, they sometimes just don't turn out to be really cool. Did you see the Dale Jr. download where he didn't like the in-car camera? He said that was all BS. Yeah, it's total junk. You can't censor out the dash. If you're going to censor out the dash with the pixelation, the pixelation is really distracting. So where you normally would just be looking at the in-car, and you probably wouldn't even really look at the dash unless you're just a complete nerd. Most people are looking out the front window, but now that they've pixelated it, I find myself just completely focusing on where it's pixelated because it's constantly moving, and it whenever there's motion on the screen, that's where your eyes are going to be drawn to. So it's very distracting. So it's a completely useless shot because the whole time I'm just staring at the pixelation and I'm missing the entirety of what's going on out in the front window. So it's totally stupid. And if that's what he was talking about, I haven't seen that one yet with Jeffrey Earnhardt, I guess. But if that's what he's talking about, he's dead on the money with that. Let's see. Glock says 45 car fueled by grandpa's old cough medicine. Yeah, so there you go. Gloctopus saying the monster beast tastes like grandpa's old cough medicine. So he has already sampled it for us, and he said it's not good. So maybe that's something I can do. I can bring on I'll do that maybe if I can find it. First off, I'll bring on a couple of the beverage sponsors, and I'll taste test all of them, and we'll see which ones are good and which ones aren't. Say Kyle not Cal, seeing the 45 is generally the same feeling when you get to lay eyes on your blind date. Your friend insists has a great personality. So there you go. There you go. It sounded really good, and you thought it was going to be awesome, and then it turned out not to be awesome. Her personality just is not as good as they made it out to be. Rusty Beechwood says, "Dare." Yeah, I can't say that, but it's funny what you wrote there, Rusty. That's not how it goes. Wait, what? LOL. So there you go. Yeah. So Gloctopus says, when I saw the 45 scheme the first time, I remembered the original Xbox boot up screen and dashboard. Yeah, so it does. It has strong Xbox original vibes because of the green and the big X on it, and it's all black and it's a matte black. But the Beast car looked like it was a shiny black, so that's going to be a shiny black. And I guess Ty Gibbs is still going to have the matte black, and even Ty Gibbs with the Interstate, that even with just them splashing Interstate on the side of it, that looked better than the monster car. So it is what it is. Joe Gibbs Racing usually has pretty conservative paint schemes, but I will say that Interstate monster car is not good looking either. I wasn't a big fan of that one. It's better than Tyler Reddick's, but it still wasn't great. I feel like they could have really done something because both of those cars are green. You could have tweaked the monster green a little bit, but companies get super picky about stuff like that. So tweaking a color on a race car actually ends up being a really big deal. Even at the late model level, sometimes we have to get permission to change a color. I remember a guy, he had like a YouTube deal and he was racing and he had some GM backing, and they were really particular about the GM blue and the GM logo on that car. Shout out to one of the best YouTube racing channels, BB. Appreciate it, Randy Tingen. Thank you for that. I do my best. Stupid Roofer says, hi, fellas. Yo, what's up, BB? What's up, Stupid Roofer? Hope you're doing good today. I hope it's not snowing too bad on you up there. Iowa needs to be on the Cups. Needs to be on Cups since Chicagoland won't be back. Iowa needs to be the same length as Richmond. Fairgrounds, 3/4 mile in length, and keep the D-shaped layout and progressive banking. So yeah, the progressive banking is definitely, and you can configure a track however you want to. I think the progressive banking has been the key to this car racing well. You see it race well at those tracks for whatever reason. Iowa needs to be on the Cup schedule as well, says Aldis. Yeah, a lot of people want. Iowa is getting a big push to be in Cup, so I'm hoping they're one of the next ones to be on there. Rusty, please stop spamming the same posts. We got the point the first time. Says Rich L. So there you go. Sorry, I meant to say popular opinions. I'm from Alabama. Give me a break. Says Josh Strickland. Oh, you're good, man. Look, autocorrect gets me all the time. Every time I write something, autocorrect writes something completely different. So if you type it wrong and I say it wrong, don't sweat it. Just drop it down in there and we'll get it fixed. Yeah, autocorrect kills me in daily conversation. Like it does a number on me in daily conversation all the time. I get laughed at a lot. It's actually worse than my accent. Pixelated dash is very distracting. Also, why I hate the ticker at the bottom of the screen. Show scores from women's badminton. Says Sunny V. Yeah, no doubt about it. It is so I don't know, it's just so annoying. Like I know what's going on and I still can't get my eyes to look at anything around it because it's just so annoying. So I wish they just wouldn't even show it. Ryan Fussner with the $2 holler saying get rid of the pixelation. Yeah, I agree with you, and thanks for the super chat, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, I agree with you. Like the pixelation is just, even when you know not to look at it, you can't not look at it. So it's a useless shot. It might as well be another commercial because you're not getting to see any racing on the track. You're just staring at a beep boop beep boop on the screen. It's stupid. And secondly, like look, teams have all this SM whatever data that they got now. Like the pixelated screen is not helping anything, dude. Just stop. Like the pixelating out the dashboard is not doing squat. It is what it is. Hold fast. Hey BB, would you call a race with Mike Joy and Moody if they ask you to? Heck yeah, man. I would love to. I would love to just be in the booth with them. But yeah, I'd definitely call the race with them. And just to have somebody help lift the weight where I wouldn't have to talk the whole time probably would save my voice too. But yeah, Mike Joy is definitely a legend. And who was the other one in there? Was it Moody? Yeah, definitely. I will call it with Moody as well, and I will tell Moody to be nicer to his callers as well. Moody gets vicious on some of those callers sometimes, man. He's mean as crap. Let's see here. Bumblebee says, "What's up, stupid roofer?" Alda says, "Should be the booth for Cup all season. Lee Diffie, Dale Jr., Jamie Mack, and Steve Letarte for Xfinity all season. Would be Adam Alexander, Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, and Drew Blickensderfer." Yeah, that would make sense, but they're paying so much money to Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer that they're always going to be on Cup. Ken Boggs says, or Bogue says, Ken says, seeing how popular the North Wilkesboro resurgence is with the fans, wouldn't it be awesome if NASCAR could pick a different historic track each year to run on? How cool would that be? I think that would be cool. That's something that they really need to look at in the future. Like 1 year it would be North Wilkesboro, and that would always keep it fresh, and that would always get the track to sell out. Like 1 year it could be Rockingham. That way, everybody in North Carolina that wants their track to be on there, like if the North Carolina tracks were on a rotation, I think that would work out very well. And I think that could happen because I think Marcus Smith owns both of those tracks, but I'm not 100% sure. Somebody can look that one up. So that particular situation could work. Alan says, "Hi from Croatia. Your pick for the win, please." I'm picking Kyle Busch for the win. Just looking at the numbers, Joey Logano would also be a strong pick there, but I'm going with Kyle Busch. As far as my feelings go, I'm going with Kyle Larson. And the outside, my dark horse pick or whatever would be Eric Jones. I like him too. And also, not for nothing, I would throw Christopher Bell into that mix too. I like Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. But my main two picks would have to be Joey Logano and Kyle Busch there. Alda says KM says, "Do you have a dog or a cat?" I used to have a dog, KM. He passed away in probably maybe 2010, 2011, or 2012, somewhere in there. But I haven't gotten one since. I don't have anywhere to put them right now. So that is the situation with that. But yeah, I had a dog. I've never had a cat, but I do like cats. I'm just not I've never had a cat myself personally. Alda says, for the truck booth all season, Jamie Little, Kurt Busch, and Chad Knaus. Chad Knaus would be really good at trucks. Jamie Little at some point needs to be in the booth and hone those skills in the booth because she's definitely put her time down on pit road. And Kurt Busch, he's good wherever you want to put him. So that would definitely be a good booth for sure. Kevin S says, "What's up, BB? Keep up the good work. Love watching the live streams before every race." Thanks, Kevin. I try to do as good as I can. I will try to find another statistics website if that one has gone down though, because that threw me for a loop today. I was not expecting that, but it is what it is. What do you guys? Who do you guys have for the win today? Says Stupid Roofer. I'm going with Kyle Busch or Joey Logano. I'm leaning towards Kyle Busch. Just because I think he's going to get it done. I just like his numbers a little bit better here. I think RCR has had good cars here. I don't think this is a particularly strong track for Austin Dillon, which is why I don't think you've seen great numbers here. But you saw Tyler Reddick run really good here. And Tyler Reddick's another one. Eric Jones is another one. Christopher Bell's another one that I would put on that radar, put in that mix as well. And of course, Kyle Larson, you can never count him out. California kid. Anybody from California really has to be on your radar. But going with my personal favorite driver of Kyle Larson, and every once in a while the Wood brothers have a good car here as well. So I wouldn't sleep on Harrison Burton. He could have a rocket ship at some point this season. Say Kyle, not Kyle. NASCAR, so much technology. SMT, that's what I was trying to think of. SMT is actually out of the Raleigh-Durham area, so that's not far from me at all. Dartfish, we do that at the local short tracks. Adam Zirkle is the guy that does it at the local dirt tracks for us, or local short tracks for us. So on. Very exciting teams. Don't look at our dash. Yeah, exactly. If they want to get the information, they'll get the information somehow. They don't have to look at your dash. Like this pixelation of the dash is the dumbest thing ever, without a doubt. Yeah, I'm all the way with you there. Say Kyle, not Kyle. It's so stupid. And there's other ways of doing it too. Like I'm not going to get into it, but if they really wanted to get that information, they could get it. Aldous says, I love Mike Joy. And actually the easiest way to hack anything is the people around it. So basically, if you've got a friend on another team, just give them a call and ask them. Let's not act like that doesn't happen either. So it is what it is. I love Mike Joy and Alan Bestwick. They're the GOATs along with Ken Squire and Bob Jenkins. Ken Squire and Bob Jenkins were two of my favorites of all time. No doubt about it. I love Mike Joy. I don't feel like he loves the direction NASCAR is going in. I feel like he's sort of just humping it out for a paycheck like the rest of us right now. Obviously not what it was to some of our older fans. And Alan Bestwick has a huge following. A lot of people were so fired up that he went back to SRX, and he does a great job over there with SRX and has done a great job everywhere he's been. Stupid Roofer says, I'm doubling down on Kyle Busch winning 8 races this year. I was wrong. I think it's going to be 10. So there you go. Stupid Roofer going with a 10-win Kyle Busch season. He's definitely looked strong early. At the Coliseum, he had a good car. At Daytona, he had a good car. So he looks like he's ready to go out there and settle some scores and prove a point or whatever you want to call it. Aldous says, I like the NASCAR All-Star race, the NBA All-Star game last weekend. For a long time since Adam Silvers took over as commissioner, has fallen off and not taken it seriously. That's one thing I do like about NASCAR. We do at least take our exhibition races very seriously. Now, they might not be loved by all the fans, but they do put a lot of effort into them, right? So I will say that about the sport. They try every year to make the All-Star race something special, and they try every year to make that LA Coliseum race special. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but the effort and the effort is definitely there, right? So I will say that about the sport. Say Kyle, not Cal. Love your picks. My fantasy lineup is the 5, the 8, the 43, the 45, the 3, and the 22 in the garage. Load management. I like it. I like those picks right there. Those are solid picks. I don't think I would do anything different there, to be totally honest with you. I like those picks. Let's see here. Josh Strickland, Mike Joy impresses me with his knowledge of racing history, not only NASCAR. Yeah, no doubt. He is like an encyclopedia, and that's the one thing. Like if you replace Mike Joy, you almost have to get another person. You have to have like a NASCAR historian and a color commentator, because how are you going to replace that guy? He is like the Encyclopedia Britannica. If anybody even remembers what that was, he's like the Encyclopedia Britannica of race car, not just NASCAR, of racing knowledge. That guy's really good. Let's see here. I guess in modern terms, he would be the Google search of racing knowledge. Let's see here, because I think a lot of people are like, what's Encyclopedia Britannica? Larson, Aldis is going Larson, Kyle Busch, and Chase Elliott are my picks today to win. Yeah, so don't count out Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott definitely in his prime and his peak, and he's going to rack up wins just about every season. So never count out the 9 car. Epileptic Bumblebee says my picks to the 48, going with Bowman. I like that pick as well. The 12, Ryan Blaney, nice pick there. 22, the 5, the 8, and the 6 is my garage pick. I like that garage pick. I do like Brad Keselowski because I think he has shown more speed this year than he showed all of last year already in the first just couple races. And I know they weren't good, but I'm just saying he looked sporty. He looked sporty at Daytona, and I fully expect RFK to turn it around this season. Let's see here. I'm adding Bell, Brad, or Jones, says Aldis. All those picks are good for sure. Let's see. Ryan Fussner says SMT data, single instance, multi-tenant, meaning multiple users on one data collection program. So there you go. There's I never knew what it actually meant. I just knew it was out of Raleigh, Durham somewhere. That's pretty cool. You learn something every day. Appreciate it, Ryan. Stupid Roofer goes, Jones could pull this one off. I agree with you. He was super close a couple years ago, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Octopus says, why is everybody sleeping on the Stewart Haas boys? I think Kevin Harvick. I said Kevin Harvick, so I'm not totally sleeping on him. Show the Blue Oval some love. Almirola has been running really fast, and Harvick has been solid also. Yesterday when I was looking at these numbers, I know 100% that Eric Almirola was actually on that list of good finishers at this track too. So add the 10 car of Eric Almirola to the sleeper list as well. So appreciate it, Octopus. Like I said, my numbers going down have hindered me on my sleepers. But you did remind me that Eric Almirola is really good at Auto Club, so I appreciate it. And don't sleep on SHR. SHR is another one that I feel like has gone up. Andy Hillenberg bought it before 2011 and had it renovated for the Truck Series return. Someone else owns it now. Not sure of who it is. Says Virtual Fusion. I'm not sure what we're talking about. Stupid Roofer says the Iceberg. I don't know. Iceberg's the man, though. I like the comment. T-Van says Steve Burns was the best NASCAR announcer. Miss him. Of course, he lost a battle with cancer. So rest in peace to Steve Burns. He was a really good formative part of Speed Vision and Speed TV back in the day. Happy birthday, BB LLC. LOL Almendinger is my pick for today, says Quiet Cat. I appreciate it. And that actually is the full name of it. Baloney Burger Media LLC. It is an actual LLC, so that's pretty funny. Let's see here. Rusty Beechwood, Mike Joy is irreplaceable. I agree with you, Rusty. We need 3 people to fill his spot. What about what he knows about the sport? When he goes, will be sorely missed. I'm 100% in agreement with you there, Rusty Beechwood. Aldis says, if Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, Denny, Jeff Gordon, Stewart, Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch take over NASCAR, they need to go back to a season-long format, but use my style with F1 points. No more stage racing. So I do like F1's season-long points with some slight tweaks to it. I also like Slap Shoes version of the points as well. But any season-long points, in my opinion, would be better than what we got. NASCAR glory days have come and gone. They struggled to figure out how to make a better mousetrap when they built the original mousetrap, says Mark Wachowski. I agree with that 100%. The Glotopus, Ryan Fuster, SMT is actually sports media technology, and its primary use case is for broadcasters, media, and apps. Teams piggyback the data, but it's not the same. Same as the dash data. That's true, but at the same time, they can the teams can get that info if they want to. Pixelating the dash is such lame. That's lame sauce by the networks. Let's see here. Say Kyle, not Cal. I wanted to put the 48 in my lineup, but I swear he either wins the race or finishes 26th. Seems like Seems like there is no middle when it comes to Alex. That's been the MO on him for his entire career. If he could ever get consistent, he would be a dangerous dude. There's no doubt about that. Those RFK cars are bad fast, says Stupid Roofer. And I lost my spot here. So we'll start with this one. Virtual Fusion RFK has one of the slowest teams at the Clash. Yeah, I was talking about Daytona, but it is what it is. I was talking about Daytona, and I guess the Daytona duels or shootouts or whatever. But yeah, they never do well at the Clash. I don't think they put any R&D money into it. I think they see it as a waste of R&D money. Napa Racing Fan 927, but you're right, they were slow. Napa Racing Fan 927 says replace Richmond with Iowa, replace Auto Club with Rockingham, dump Street Course, and replace Kansas with Chicagoland. Bring back Road America. I'm for bringing back Road America. Auto Club's getting replaced in spite of itself, so I would like to see a race at Rockingham. I think the street course is going to get dumped anyway, and Kansas or Chicagoland for the street course I think would be win-win for the fans either way. Ian Fisher banged up this morning after turning 41. Happy birthday yesterday, Ian Fisher. He's playing hurt, but he's still playing. Happy birthday to the channel. Hope all is well. This race gets going today. Yeah, I hope it gets going today as well. And I hope you get better too. Go get you a liquid IV. That'll help out with the recent sickness you have acquired. It'll rehydrate you and it'll take most of that headache away. Pop some Tylenol or Advil or Aleve or whatever you need to do to get the rest of the headache to go away. And that should patch you back up. And we should be able to get you back out there by halftime if you go with that. Let's see here. T-Van, I'm going with the 8 for the win, but would love to see Eric Jones. I think both of those are good picks. Alda says should replace Almirola in the 10 car. Should be 00. And Harvick should be the 4 car. Oh, so change Almirola's number to 00. That would be pretty cool. Mark Bukowski says Andy Hillenberg bought Rockingham. Okay, so he bought Rockingham. There you go. I wasn't aware that he was one of the owners of that, although I should have been probably. I'm not really up to speed on Rockingham. Kyle Petty ruined that track for me like in 92 or something like that. Like he dominated that race so bad that I almost didn't want to watch another one there. I had to watch Days of Thunder yesterday to get my racing fix of Cole Trickle for the win, says Josh Strickland. Cole Trickle's always got to be on the radar. Billy Joe says, I'd love to see Stuart Haas take the 00 car since Starcom is no more. That would be cool. Aldis is onto something there, and I agree with you, Billy Joe Armstrong. Billy Joe, I think the 00 going to Haas would be a good deal. RFK was good at super speedway races last year too, while who knows who were improved they are on the other tracks. They were pretty bad at the Clash. Yeah, they were definitely bad at the Clash. But they were good at Daytona. We know they're good at the super speedways, but at the end of last year they showed speed too, which is why I was surprised they were bad at the Clash. But I think they'll be right back to where they were. Bumblebee says Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons. Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett were the jam. With Bill Weber was the man too. And Jerry Punch back in the day, Jack Root, John Kernan on pit road for ESPN and ABC is the best announcer crew I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, the original ESPN crew. I'm with you there, Bumblebee. The original ESPN crew, at least the original one that I remember that you basically just ran off there. That's who I grew up watching races on, and that's back when ESPN was good and did a great job with all their coverage. Before they sort of went to just wearing out topics, like when they started going the Tim Tebow, Jeremy Lin route, that's when ESPN got almost, in my opinion, unwatchable to me. Do you think Carl Edwards will ever make the Hall of Fame as a follow-up? Ricky Rudd, I think both of those guys make the Hall of Fame. I think it's just going to be it'll be like a driver's nomination type deal. In that situation, Gloctopus, the manufacturers are the ones who requested the networks pixelate the dash clusters. They didn't even ask NASCAR or the teams. They just went over everyone's head. Oh, that's terrible, man. The OEMs can suck it then. Like that's oh man, the OEMs are messing up at every turn now. Like, what's up with that? Everyone forgets the OEMs rule the roost at the end of the day. Yeah, so make your strongly worded. Appreciate that, Glock. Look, Glock's on top of it today, man. He woke up early to help me out, and I appreciate it, dude. Like, yeah. So, form your strongly worded emails and send them to Ford, Toyota, and Chevrolet or GM, and let them know, hey, stop with the pixelation of the dash. I know Chevrolet is one of them, but I know at one point we saw inside of somebody's dash, and I forgot who it was. I think it was a Ford driver. So I think some of the Ford drivers. Ford might not be on it, but I know Chevrolet and Toyota are definitely doing it. Ryan Fussner, wow, I did not know that about SMT pertaining to NASCAR. SMT is an acronym in the industry I work at, SaaS software. Thanks for the correction, and apologies, BB, for the bad data. No, it's all good, man. I've seen SMT before. I used to do computer repair, so it didn't register with me either. It all flows together, right? There's a lot of acronyms in the computer world, programming world, whatever you want to call it. Let's see here. Josh Strickland, Eli Gold. Eli Gold was definitely the man back in the day too. One of my favorites because he calls the Alabama football where I grew up listening to him. He's awesome at that too. But he was definitely awesome at NASCAR. Only thing on the dashboard in the race car needs is oil pressure, water temp. The rest is useless. Being a driver, never uses it. I agree with you. I agree with you. So you really only need two in there, but at the end of the day, I think they're looking at what the issue is. So at the end of the day, what the issue that everybody is looking at and trying to steal data from is what temperature the engine is running at what point in the race that it's running, particularly in qualifying. So that's the information that's being stolen. But like I said, that information can be gathered in other ways because let's just be totally honest. If a guy building a Chevrolet engine has friends with the guys building the RFK, Roush, Yates engines over there, then guess what? He's going to make a phone call. Hey, what temperature are you running at? And at the end of the day, it doesn't freaking matter because guess what? A Ford block is completely different from a Chevrolet block is completely different from a Toyota block. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like it's kind of pointless. It's kind of pointless. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Imagine how bad the Fox broadcast would be if you replaced Mike Joy with Marty Reed. So Marty Reed continuing to get the hate. Glocknapus, what's up? Let's see here. Rich L, Ryan, they both need to be in. Hard to be neither has made it yet, especially Ricky Rudd. I agree. Ricky Rudd not making it is a little bit of a black eye on the sport, and Carl Edwards will get there too. But I think you got to put Ricky Rudd in first, just because of FIFO, right? First in, first out. You got to put Ricky Rudd in there first, just because he retired earlier. That being said, I think both of them are Hall of Famers. Like, if you do it in football terms. Carl Edwards would sort of be like Jim Brown. Jim Brown retired at the height of his career, at the peak of his talents. Carl Edwards retired at the peak of his career, the peak of his talents. So it's not unprecedented for a guy to walk away. Sandy Koufax, he walked away at the height of his talents as well. So it's not unprecedented for athletes and sportsmen to walk away at the top of their game. Tim Race, do you think Rockingham would provide good racing with the next gen car? I don't know. I really don't know. It just got repaved, so you're not going to have any tire fall off, but I don't know. It's somewhat similar to Nashville Super Speedway, but the surface is asphalt. Yeah. So what made Rockingham a good race is it's in the Sandhills of North Carolina. It would typically wear out tires, but now with that freshly paved track, it's probably not going to have a whole lot of tire wear. But after a few years, I think it would have a really good. I think it would have really good racing there. The funny thing about Road America is last year I saw a ton of comments on videos saying drop it, and then after the street race announcement, Road America became the fan favorite track. Says Sky Talent. Hey, I'm not going to disagree with you there because everybody was griping about we got too many road courses and we need to drop one. Then all of a sudden we drop Road America. Oh, don't drop that one. No, don't drop that one. I'm with you on that one, Sky Talent. That's a very good point. So once again, be careful what you wish for. BB, tell everyone how you feel about the new version of the Cup schedule I sent you. I don't have it right in front of me, Aldis, but I do. Essentially, I'll break it down to this. What he sent me was basically they would group them all together. Like you would have a southeastern cluster of races, you would have a west coast cluster of races, and I do think as far as travel goes, that is much better on the teams for the guys that can get out of having to travel. Like if you could get some of the guys to just stay there, and they wouldn't have to do all this back and forth. It would help out from that perspective to cluster all of your races that are near each other. Like you would have a 6-race Midwest cluster, you would have a Southeast cluster over here, and then you would have your West Coast cluster. I do think that's something that they could look at in the future. Darian, what's up, man? Black Flags Matter is in the house. Glad to have you on here, dude. Robin Mark says Ricky Rudd to the Hall of Fame. Rusty Beechwood agreeing, saying Ricky Rudd for the Hall. He deserves it. And by the way, Darian had a great live stream yesterday. If you want to go check that out, where he simulated all of the seasons from NASCAR 2004 to 2022. So that was a really great stream. If you didn't get to catch some of that, go watch that. That was a good one, a super creative stream. I enjoyed it. So always good to have him in here. I can't wait for the fans to get blamed for commercials again. Yeah, so he's on team No Simp NASCAR. Like I couldn't believe like that was like PR 101, and we talked about it a little bit behind the scenes. Like it was PR 101. If you want something to go away, don't talk about it. NASCAR doubled down and talked about it and then blamed the fans on top of it. So NASCAR actually made it a bigger deal than it could have been, whereas they should have been talking about Brad Doherty winning the Daytona 500, JTG Doherty, a single car team, winning the Daytona 500, and Ricky Stenhouse winning the Daytona 500. Instead, NASCAR let the narrative get out of their hands, and now we talked about nothing but negative stuff about NASCAR this week, instead of talking about those three things, which should have been positive things. So yeah, that's definitely a good point. Let's see. T-Van says Ned Jarrett was awesome, calling Dale Jarrett's win at the 500. It was awesome for most everybody except me, who was a Dale Earnhardt fan, who was deep in my feelings. And I hated Ned Jarrett and Dale Jarrett for about 3 years before I got over myself. But yeah, and I was a little kid back then, so I was like, how come he's showing so much favoritism? Like back in the day, if you were like an announcer on TV and you showed favoritism, it was like a big deal. Now it's just like if you don't show favoritism, it's special. So, as you get older, you figure things out. So it was pretty funny back in the day that it's just totally different than how it is now. And I was mad at Ned Jarrett and Dale Jarrett. That was literally after I just bought a Dale Jarrett diecast because that Interstate Batteries car looked so sweet. Then he wins the Daytona 500, and I immediately started hating on him. So it was peak Earnhardt fan feelings, I should say. Rusty Beechwood says the gauges on the dash are for the crew more than the driver. Yeah, that's 100% because the driver's only looking at the one that turns red. Because if something turns red, that's a bad day. Might be time to shut it down. Alda says Chase Elliott needs a new crew chief and a new pit crew, HMS, to reunite Chase and Greg Ives. They were a great team when they won the 2014 Xfinity title in Chase's rookie season in Xfinity. I don't know, man. Like, there's been a lot of people calling for Alan Gustafson to be fired. I don't get it. He's got a championship in the Cup Series with him. They just had the best season statistically last year of anybody. Now that doesn't matter in the current way we award a championship in NASCAR, but he had the best season. He's had basically 3 really good seasons in a row. I've seen a lot of people call for Alan Gustafson to be fired. I don't get it. Like I just don't get it. But it is what it is. Let's see. Glocktopus says I was down there at Phoenix test earlier in the month. Got to talk to some of the inside people. Not all Ford engines are OEM made engines. All Toyota engines are TRDs, which they make, and the same with Chevy. Okay, so Ford's got they've got a difference in some of their blocks, I guess. I guess not all of them are completely Roush Yates. And I'm guessing that Stuart Haas, because Stuart Haas has come out and said that was part of the Dodge conversation. Tony Stewart came out and said he wants to build his own engines. So let's just put a rumor out there. If I'm just taking a guess, I'm thinking Stuart Haas is probably doing they're probably tweaking or tuning their own engines. That would be my guess, but it's like that. Like I said, it's just a guess. Don't start that rumor. Let's see here. Josh Strickland, Ned Jarrett calls Richard Petty pit stops from the toilet and lined it up with what they were doing back in the day. So yeah, if that's one of the best pieces of NASCAR lore in history. Ned Jarrett was on pit road being a pit road reporter, and he had to use the bathroom, and they went to him to call what was going on pit road. And Ned Jarrett was just in the bathroom, and I think you could hear the toilet flush or you could hear the water faucet come on. But he totally calls it from the bathroom, not having eyes on it, but was still dead on the money. So that was one of the coolest things or funniest things that ever happened in NASCAR. It's a great story. Ken says Buddy Baker was a favorite of mine in the booth. He called some great races. Yeah, Buddy Baker always had a good story. He's got a great book. Half spun out, turned over. It's some crazy title, but Buddy Baker's got a really good book. If you're into checking out books, he's really that's one you should check out. A track I never heard about is Pikes Peak. I believe the Oval is still there. The Oval is still there. Last I checked, at least. I feel everyone is unnecessarily hard on Boyer on his broadcasting. I also think Fox isn't letting Boyer be himself. Yeah, I think so too, and I think also Clint, he's just in a weird place. He doesn't want to be himself because he doesn't want to talk about drinking because of the terrible accident that happened. So I think he doesn't want to come off as being super crazy and doing all this crazy stuff because of that. So I think after a while he'll get back to being himself. I think he's just in a tough spot emotionally right now as far as that goes. Glock says Buddy Baker and Benny Parsons are the real broadcast legends. Benny Parsons was the man, no doubt about it, and Buddy Baker was good too. But everybody that was mentioned on here so far is they're all good, right? I just miss Benny Parsons so much. I have since the day he passed away. It was literally like your grandpa leaving you. Yeah, he definitely made a mark. He's one of those people you never really met him, but and when they leave, you're like, man, that person had a huge impact on my life, and I didn't even realize it. He's just one of those. He's one of those dudes. Or was one of those dudes. Alda says 900 horsepower. The problem with 900 horsepower is the OEMs don't want to do it. NASCAR doesn't want to do it because they're trying to get other OEMs into the sport. So we can't have a 900 horsepower package. The 5-inch spoiler, any shorter spoiler would be better at the 1.5s. A 3-inch spoiler at road courses. I mean, at this point, I think you could probably have a 3-inch spoiler everywhere. This car has just got so much downforce. You don't need much of a spoiler back there. But that's just my thoughts on it. That's from Aldous. Bumblebee, Glock says, Bumblebee, if you ever miss Benny, there's some great montages, compilations of him on YouTube. You can't do that. That was one of his famous taglines. So, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to check that out myself. I miss old BP calling the races. And he would also give away the Benny Awards every week. I missed that too. Since my Carl Rick comment was well received, what about Ryan Newman? Ryan Newman is a borderline Hall of Famer. I don't know if he gets in or not. I personally think he should get in because he's won a bunch of Daytona 500s. He's won enough races, in my opinion, to get in there, but I don't know if he gets in because everybody always wants to point to the fact, oh, he won 6 races this year, and then he only won X amount of races for the rest of his career. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? He finished top 5 in points several times, and he won the Daytona 500 multiple times. Like, that's. I'm not saying he's going to be in your top 10 of Hall of Famers of all time, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, especially if you look at some of the other people's numbers that they have put into the Hall of Fame. I think Ryan Newman more than qualifies for being in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Mickey Logano, and to be fair, he wasn't always driving the best stuff when he finished top 5 in points some of those years either. Let's see, Mickey Logano, and he single-handedly brought Roush Fenway back to glory for 1 year. So yeah, enough simping for Ryan Newman, but I'm with you. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Stupid Roofer wants to know who Darian's picking for the race today. I'm going with Kyle Busch and Joey Logano. Those are my picks. Eric Jones as the sleeper. Mickey Logano says, I would like to see a 4-man booth next TV deal. That includes Alan Bestwick, Dale Jr., Clint Boyer, and Kevin Harvick. That would be a solid booth there for sure. NASCAR did the Barbra Streisand effect. You talk about a problem and you make it worse. Says Robin Marks. Yeah, so basically you try to make a problem go away, and the more you try to make it go away, the bigger it gets. That is the old Streisand effect. Let's see here. Rusty Beechwood, I agree with you on Ned and Dale being a 3 fan. Took a while to appreciate that moment for me too. Yeah, I was in my feelings. There's no doubt about it. I was deep in my feelings about that one. As a little kid, just because people don't realize how painful it was to watch Dale Earnhardt Sr. find ways to lose the Daytona 500 on the last 5 laps of every race. It seems like Richard Childress' famous saying back in the day is we won the Daytona 499 like 7 or 8 times. So it was painful to watch him lose another one, and then to see somebody be so happy about him losing it, it puts you right in your feelings as a 3 fan. Alda says NASCAR needs to get rid of the charters. It ruins chances of potential new teams who want to enter the race, and it ruined qualifying. It definitely ruined qualifying, and there's ways to amend it and fix it, but I don't think they're ever going to get rid of it. But I agree with you. Ty Dillon going to get that first Fontana win today, says OJ and Toothpaste. Only if he can hold off the mighty triumvirate that is Rick Ware Racing, OJ and Toothpaste. And of course, you can't count out the 78 of BJ McLeod, 16-time world champion on Earth 2. Alan Gustafson on the hot seat. Are y'all smoking the devil's lettuce, says Ryan Fussner. Yeah, that's what I don't get it. And Josh Strickland says, why are people upset at Alan Gustafson? I don't know. Chase Elliott Nation is they're tough on old Allen, man. Like I'll just keep it real. I'll keep it 100 with you. Like they're tough on Allen, man. NASCAR should have a boot heel Hall of Fame section. A bad guy Hall of Fame section. That would be cool. Yeah, that would. They could call it the Kyle Busch fan section. People that stirred it up. There's something up with those Fords, says Stupid Roofer. I think Stewart Haas is tweaking their engines now that I have that information. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool inside drop there. I appreciate that from Glocknopus. Chase Elliott fans talk so much crap about Alan Gustafson. It's almost to the point of being ridiculous. Like literally, they can make everything his fault, even when Chase is statistically the best driver. Yeah, like it's insane. They're doing a great job over there, and he gets a lot of heat. It's crazy to me. Like if you want to get rid of Alan Gustafson, RCR, Petty GM or LMC will take him 100%. Richard Petty's Legacy Motorsports. Let's see. Mickey Logano says, honestly, after the season Allen had with Elliott, I think he needs to stay with Elliott. I'm with you. I don't get it. Glocknopus said, BB, I ain't saying you're right about the SHR engines, but I ain't saying you're wrong either. I got you, brother. I got you. Heck yeah, dude. 10-4 over. Gotcha. Rusty Beachwood says Chris Economaki was the original Mike Joy. A dude was awesome. Yeah, so Chris Economaki is one that a lot of people don't remember. But Chris Economaki had a great story where this is back in the day before they had TV. He was on radio. And he was calling all these crazy things that were happening. He was basically embellishing or lying, straight up lying about the corner that he was calling. And a guy went down there to watch the race, and he went up to Chris Economaki and he says, I came down here to watch this race and nothing happened over here, but I'm listening to it on the radio. He says, so next time I'm going to go sit where you're at, because where you're at is where all the action's happening. And Chris Economaki was just laughing because he was making it sound more interesting than it was, basically gaslighting back in the day. But he was lying to make it sound way more exciting than it was. And that dude was like, I'm going to go sit over there where you're at because you're seeing a better race than I'm seeing. D. Moran says, could Iowa or Chicagoland replace auto clubs since those are the only oval tracks NASCAR owns that isn't on the schedule? NASCAR also owns Road Atlanta, Sebring through IMSA. I would like to see Road Atlanta on the list. If Chicagoland doesn't replace the Chicago Street Course, I think I'm a big fan of Road Atlanta. I was really good there on Forza, and that is 100% why I want to see Road Atlanta on there, because I want to see if they drive the line that I was driving on that track back in the day. So it's totally a selfish play by me. Robin Marks, Neil Bonnet was fun in the booth when he got hurt. Neil Bonnet was one of the best telecasters of all time. Like it's like the if I got 2 trips in the time machine, like that's the second one I'm fixing. Maybe I don't know. Aldous says, since Ty Dillon just got mentioned here, it's time he moves back to Xfinity or trucks for RCR. Ty's been in mediocre equipment in Cup. Yeah, I don't think he's going to do it though, because he sees himself as a Cup driver, and I don't know. He's a weird. That's a weird story. Say Kyle, not Cal. One Alan Gustafson fired is like the 98% perfect girlfriend, but you want to break up with her because she does her eyeliner weird. 9 fans would be mad after the fact if he left. Yeah, so it's that's a good analogy. He's doing 98% of everything right, and we're focusing on the 2% of things that go wrong over there. Boyer just tries too hard, says Stupid Roofer. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Hopefully he one day relaxes into it. I feel like Clint Boyer feels like his job can always be taken away at any moment. Like he feels like he's constantly on the hot seat. So I think that's part of where some of that comes from. The oval at PPR is still there. They paid $50 million to build it, and it needs permission. And it needs millions to bring it back online. One of the main reasons it closed is because of the traffic jams it created, says Rich L. So there you go. Probably the traffic infrastructure would be the first, if you bring it back to life. If you bring it back to life, that would probably be the first thing you need to address. That's probably the first thing they should have addressed at Wilkesboro, because that's going to be an absolute nightmare. I'll just tell you that right now. Wilkesboro, you're going to see a lot of people complaining about the traffic, even though they swore to God that they just wanted the Wilkesboro race and they'll never complain about the traffic. I promise you, there's going to be a lot of complaining about that Wilkesboro traffic. One road in, one road out, and it's a long road, and there's not a lot of tributary roads leading to it. Ryan Fussner, Boyer needs to rely on his old boss man Tony, who had an unfortunate situation and seemingly was able to has gotten up to the points to be able to continue on with his life. Yeah, I hope he can get there too, but you can tell it still bothers him. And you can, and in my opinion, this is just me, armchair psychologist. You can tell it bothers him because they said something about him drinking on one of the telecasts, and he like shook his head like he didn't want him to talk about him drinking. And you know where that came from, right? So it is what it is. Aldous says, how about a Cup Booth team of Dale Jr., Clint Boyer? Remember when they called last year's spring race at Talladega? Yeah, I think that would be fair. Like that was one of the coolest things Fox was able to pull off last year, was to get Dale Jr. on there for under the guise of him going into the Hall of Fame. The track is located right on I-25. Yes, that's going to be it's sort of a similar issue to Wilkesboro there. But yeah, I would focus on the infrastructure before anything. We're talking about Pikes Peak, by the way, before we focused on anything else. Mark Rukowski says John Madden had the skills. He is a great sports commentator. He played the game. He coached the game. He knew the plays before they happened. And that was just how Buddy Baker was. I agree with that 100%. You need that veteran presence in there to tell you kind of what's going on and what's coming next. Sky Talon, I think a lot of Alan G. He comes from the Coke 600 when he had Elliott's pit at the end, and he threw that race away. So that's what they're mad about. They're mad that he threw the Coke 600 away. Well, all you got to do is win the next one, right? So hopefully they get off the Fire and Alan Gustafson train, because I don't think it'll happen, but I just don't understand why they're hating on the guy. Newman was as consistent as any driver. Literally every year he produced steady, good numbers. I agree with that. Stupid Roofer says Newman dang near won it. Yeah, I agree. He almost won it with one win, a one-win season. So that's that would be Benny Parsons Hall of Fame material. Benny was funny. He went and sent. Benny was funny when they sent him to random fans' home. They did some funny pre-race bits. Yeah, he was pretty much. He had such a good personality. He carried those pre-race bits, whereas a lot of people might not necessarily like Rutledge Wood. He was like if everybody liked Rutledge Wood, which I like Rutledge Wood. I like what Rutledge does. They did a disservice to Rutledge by keeping him in the Dawsonville pool room for too long that day, or just throwing it to him too many times. Hope you're right about Newman. I think he should get in. My pick is. Joseph Wooten going, my pick for the race is the rain. So he's saying the pace car is going to get the dub in on this Sunday race. Hopefully they get it in though. Swan Dog says, what's up, y'all? I'll take it from a Rowdy fan. How much established crew chief means. Don't give up on Gustafson just yet either. Yeah, I would keep it there too. Wally's World was a great place. Pre-race deal. Dialing back would have some actress ride around in the car with him and have her screaming. It was funny, says Sonny V. Yeah, Wally Dallenbach was cool because he would also race the Xfinity races and do in-car from the car while he was racing. So I missed that too. Do you think Jimmy Johnson in the 84 will win one race? Man, he's only racing like 6 races. I don't think he'll win a race statistically. I'm just going probability wise. I do think he'll run well, and I think he'll run better than a lot of people are giving him credit for. So I will say that. Escobar says, match Allen with Larson. He's a better crew chief than Cliff Daniels. Oh, I don't know about that. That's a tough one. They both have a championship. They both have multiple win seasons. You're slicing hairs there, in my opinion. I think they're both really good. Let's see. Mark Wachowski, Boot Hill section, but that's a good hot take. You know what? We haven't done a poll yet. So there we go. That's a good one. Let's see. Better crew chief. Go with Alan G because I don't want to mess his name up. Or Daniels. All right. Ask the community. And I misspelled Chief, but there you go. You get the gist of it. Let's see here. I lost my spot. So let's see. OJ and Toothpaste says, do you think Jimmy Johnson in the 84 will win one race? So I just got that one, so I'm back up to where I was at. Boot Hill section. Boot Hill section, those who gave it all. Okay, says Mark Bukowski. McDuffie, Earnhardt, Petty, Roper, Irwin, etc. Yeah, that would actually be they do need something like that. I agree with that. So I got you now. I was going boot or heel, like heel, like in wrestling. So I was thinking you were talking about bad guys, but I got you now. Yeah, that would be probably an awesome section to have. Aldous says the next TV partner for the pre-race should be at the track again. Yeah, so apparently I think they're working on something similar to that over on Speed Vision. So hopefully they get that together. And it should be 30 minutes long. I do agree with the 30 minutes long part as well. Yeah, 30 minutes is more than enough for pre-race, maybe an hour at the most. But these 2 or 3 hour pre-races, too much sauce. Let's see. Rusty Beechwood, Boyer has potential. He is entertaining and energetic. He will get better, says Rusty Beechwood. I'm with you. I think he'll keep getting better. And you've seen him actually get better. Holdfast says, I'm with you on Road Atlanta. Yeah, Road Atlanta is one of my favorite tracks. I need to, at some point, I need to get down there and watch an actual race there. I would love that. Boyer was good with Adam Alexander and Xfinity. I don't know why Boyer went to comedy when he went to the Cup booth. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's just something they push over at Fox, quite possibly. Let's see here. Cheers, fellas. All of us are flawed. Yep, I agree. I grew up next door to Neil Bonnet. Used to ride down the street with him and race his cars. He was as good as gold. The Allisons, Neil Red, Farmer, great for Hueytown. Yeah, Hueytown, the Alabama gang was awesome. I-25 is a nightmare from Wyoming border to the New Mexico border right now, says Mark Barnum. That's terrible. Yeah, I mean, I can see that for sure. Actually, Newman almost won it with no wins. He was winless in 2014. Yeah, so there you go. I was thinking he needed one. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I was thinking if he won one race, he would definitely win the title. But yeah, basically they traded Kevin Harvick for Ryan Newman, and Ryan Newman almost won the championship. But ironically, the guy that beat him to win that championship was Kevin Harvick. So it looked like a really good trade for both of them at that point. But then RCR equipment, it didn't get any better after that. Alan Gustafson's record is as good as anyone's and better than most. I'm with you on that one, Mark Wachowski. Rick Allen and Adam Alexander get unnecessary hate as lead announcers. They seem pretty good, says Aldous. Yeah, I don't hate anybody announcing. Like, I have people I prefer, but I'm not hating on anybody. Cliff looks good because he has the best driver in the car, says Escobar. Yeah, but Chad Johnston had the best driver in the car too, and he couldn't do squat with him. So I was interested that Chad Johnston went with Jimmy Johnson, or Jimmy Johnson went with Chad Johnston as his crew chief. I was very interested by that pick. Joey Logano is at the end of a AAA curse today. He's going to end the AAA curse today. Talking about AAA has never won a race on the Penske car, so going with the 22 in Victory Lane with the AAA car. Mark, they've been trying to expand the highway to 4 lanes from Denver down south, but money talks. It's going to take money to do it, says Rich L. Riley Herbst in his 15 this year might get his first, says OJ and Toothpaste, first championship. He's already got 10 wins on Earth too, OJ. So maybe his first championship is in the works. For those who don't know, we have Earth 2 where the bad drivers are good and the good drivers are bad. Jeremy Heath, hey, BB, how's it goes? Going good, Jeremy Heath. Hope you're doing good today too, my man. Rusty Beechwood, Clint Daniels won't get the love, but he is Chad Knaus. When it's all said and done, watch what him and Larson do. Very well could be. But you could say the same thing for Gustafson and Chase Elliott. I think that's going to be the most interesting rivalry going forward, those two. Daniels has a good pep talks. Larson was so close to winning the 600 last year after all the stuff Larson went through. Yep, he almost recovered. I know, Rich, but it will never get better. Lived out there for too many years, and it's always been bad, says Mark Barnum. Talking about I-25. The population of Colorado has been bombarded from the Californians. There's no such thing as a Californian exodus, though. Like, that's what they tell us, right? I shouldn't have said that. That's newsworthy. And we're doing racing here. And Texans, so big influx going to Colorado. Let's see. Mark Bukowski says Dale Inman is the best crew chief. NASCAR, 8 championships. Chad Knaus has 7. So there you go. Dale Inman has the numbers. 8 championships with 2 different drivers. Terry Labonte being the other one. Richard Petty, of course, being the one he got 7 with. Boyer freaked out when Gwen said he was wasted at the campfire when she met him. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He doesn't want to portray that image of being a heavy drinker anymore because of the incident that happened. 100% Swan Dog on top of that one. R. Escobar, I think you meant Jimmy Johnson had the best crew chief in Chad Knaus. Yeah, but Jimmy Johnson, his crew chief now is Chad Johnston, who used to be Kyle Larson's former crew chief. That's what I was talking about. And I was surprised that he took Chad Johnston because you saw what Kyle Larson has been able to do with Cliff Daniels. So that's why I was surprised that Jimmy Johnson went with him, because just me personally, I don't know. I felt like they should have Johnston should have gotten more wins with Larson, but now Johnston and Johnson are a team over there for the 84. Worked for AAA as a travel agent. Had no idea about the AAA curse. LOL. Learn something every day. Says say Kyle, not Kyle. Yeah. It's been going on for a while. It's big lore within the Logano and 22 and Penske camp. Rich lived in Colorado for 40 years. I remember when Edwards was a gas station and a restaurant. Says Mark Barnum. Talk about interstate problems. I have to daily I-35 by Fort Worth. Always road work. I can go ahead and tell you Highway 40 has a ton of road work on it throughout Texas as well. So that's not any better. I've been trying to move back to Michigan for years, and Tennessee. Oh God, I-40 on Tennessee has a pile of. Every time I've ever driven it has a pile of road construction on I-40 in Tennessee. Tennessee is a really, really tough state to drive through. It's long. It's so much longer than you imagine it is. Been trying, but it's beautiful. It's just really long. You feel like you spent a whole day driving through Tennessee and you've accomplished nothing because you're still in Tennessee. Been trying to move back to Michigan for years, but it's harder to give up all of my docs, and my wife doesn't really want to leave our grown kids out here. Hey, so there you go. Yep, I can understand that. Alda says, what if when a caution comes out, the laps will not count? Probably for the last 50 laps, or the last 10% of a race, I should say. That would work for the last 10% of a race. I do like the laps being counted during the regular portion of the race, because if we did that, there's a chance that the races could go on and on and on forever. No doubt about it. Let's see. Stupid River says, yes, we are all flawed, brother. Sad, but so true. Yep, that's a fact. Elliott has peaked and is overrated. I said it. Says Rusty Beechwood. Oh, my goodness. Stupid River says, no political nonsense. Yep, I slipped up there. That was on me. The Cali stuff has been coming to Idaho for a while. Rich L's been there since 89. Escobar, what I meant was Jimmy was never the best driver. He just had the best crew chief. Oh, okay. I got you. A lot of people believe that. I don't know. I feel like it's a team sport. I feel like Jimmy Johnson, he's a really good driver. I don't know. A lot of people make that argument though, so I don't know. I think you had the best car. I think you had the best team, and I think you had the driver that was ready to do it. And the reason I say that is because he did beat Jeff Gordon in similar equipment. So I mean, he definitely had to be pretty good. Jimmy Johnson has Todd Gordon on top of the 84 box. Also, who got Chad Johnston then? Chad Johnston went to Ryan Preece. So Chad Johnston went to Ryan Preece. So I was surprised though. I don't know. I'm just being a Chad Johnston hater though. That's just me. Appreciate that, Justin M. I don't know why I was thinking Chad Johnston went to Jimmy Johnson. But yeah, Chad Johnston went to Ryan Preece. Now that you mention it, Todd Gordon is the crew chief for Jimmy Johnson. So I screwed that one up. That's on me. Josh Strickland, I was at Chase Elliott. I saw Chase Elliott at Five Flags when he was 14. Embarrassed grown men. I've been a fan since then. Since he was racing back then, he was amazing. Yeah, he's been good his whole life. He's a pretty good race car driver. He's always been in good equipment. You can make whatever you want to say about him, but he gets the job done. I've seen people in good equipment that don't get the job done. He's in good equipment. He's getting the job done. What about Paul Wolf? He's a really great crew chief. Yeah, he's with Joey Logano, I think. So he's definitely he's got two championships, I think. JJ is the GOAT, says Stupid Roofer. Yeah, Jimmy Johnson, 7 championships didn't happen by mistake. Yeah, you got to have a pretty good driver to make it happen. Mediocre drivers that their crew chief and teams made them look better is Jimmy Johnson and Chase Elliott, says Escobar. So he's going in hard. He's saying Hendrick's just a really good team, and whoever drives for him is going to get chips. So there you go. There you go. That's a strong take by Esco. Let's see here. Jeremy Johnson drove the wheels off of that thing. So, yeah, I think Jimmy Johnson was good. He was definitely driving for the best team, though, for sure. But then again, you go name me a driver that won a championship that wasn't driving for a good team. So, I mean, that's part of it, you know. Let's see. Alda says, I love Jimmy, man, and have always been an HMS and Chevy guy. Jimmy Johnson seems like an odd person, but look at his stats and racing like Xfinity without Chad K. I'm not going to disagree with you about the Xfinity series, but for whatever reason, it clicked in the Cup series. And I've said this numerous times. Sometimes there is a style of racing that suits a driver, and those cars in the mid 2000s suited Jimmy Johnson like no other car suits Jimmy Johnson, because it was all about throttle control. That's the reason Tony Stewart was really good at him. That's the reason Tony Stewart got mad when they started reducing the horsepower. Kyle Larson, sort of the last year with that particular style of car, you saw what he could do with throttle control. So Jimmy Johnson's got really good throttle control. It's part of the reason that him going to open wheel really didn't work out, because open wheel is more about driving really smooth and not hanging it out there. I think that's a big reason his open wheel stuff didn't work out, and it's part of the reason he struggled in the Xfinity series, because the Xfinity series didn't have as much horsepower. Jimmy Johnson, to get the maximum out of what he does in a race car, you need a lot of horsepower. So I'm interested to see what he does with this new car, because this new car I don't think really is going to is going to be his cup of tea either, because of the lack of horsepower. Rich L said, Mom said, if I can't say anything nice about things, I guess I'll just leave Jimmy Johnson. the Jimmy Johnson topic, says Rich L. There's nothing wrong with that. We've all got our favorites. Cassandra Keller says Jimmy Jam was the man. Bravo Escobar, I concur with your thoughts, says Rusty Beechwood. So there you go. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll end this poll because it's about 50-50. Let's see here. And we'll go on with the next one. Nope, not that. I want to do this. Start a poll. There we go. Oh, boy. Here we go. How do I word this? Here we go. Who was better? Jimmy or Chad? That's the real question, right? All right, there we go. Who was better, Jimmy or Chad? Your two options, Jimmy or Chad. Man, let's see here. And the other poll was 44% Daniels, 55% Alan Gustafson. So there you go. Alan Gustafson, the better crew chief. Chad at 67%. Started off strong, but he's dropped down to 54%. We got a barn burner on this one. This is going to be a good one. Let's see here. Oh, I've completely lost my place. Rich L, that and happy. Smiley face. People saying Jimmy wasn't a great driver. Bumblebee's laughing. JJ is a pretty cool cat. He's just a normal guy, says Stupid Roofer. Escobar says, I meant Jimmy Johnson seems like a good person. Yeah, I think he is probably a pretty good person. I don't know. I've never met him. I met his dad. I delivered a car to him one time when he was vacationing in Boone. Good drivers get the best equipment and the best crew chief. Yeah, that's a fact. Like you earn it, right? John Ray says, Sid says, hi, what's up, Sid? Good to have you on here, John, and good to have you watching there, Sid. Mark Barnum says, I've been a great driver since 1974. LOL. So there you go. Mark Barnum, the legend. In Earth 2, Mark Barnum is the 10-time former champion. He's been racing since 74. So there you go. Mark Barnum, Earth 2 champ. Mark Wachowski, nothing bad to say about 7-time He was doing good at Daytona. Then he got caught up in a wreck. I agree. I still think he's got it. I don't think. I think some guys just never lose it. Like Kevin Harvick would be one of them. Even they were like, oh, Jimmy Johnson's having a down year. If you look at his last 3 years, he had pretty good results. He just didn't have the wins there. So I don't know. It is what it is. I think Jimmy Johnson would race for free. I met him, says Stupid Roofer. Yeah, I think he's definitely a racer at heart, and that's why he can't give it up. Like, he just can't give it up. Alda says it sucks that the manufacturers don't want the 900 horsepower back. NASCAR needs to bring 900 horsepower, at least 850, because speed, or speed attracts a lot of horsepower. A lot of horsepower attracts. Yeah, I agree. I wish they would bump up the horsepower as well, but it's something they seem to be stuck on to get other manufacturers to join the sport. So they don't seem like they're going to get off of that one. Neither without the other, says Mark Wachowski. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like 100%. Chad Knaus didn't do a whole lot with William Byron either. So you can make whatever argument you want to make, but you can't leave out the fact that Chad Knaus, he didn't do a whole lot with Fast Willie B. Stupid Roofer Chad is kind of sketchy. I mean, they call him Cheating Chad for a reason, right? He pushes the limit. So Jimmy Johnson has Todd Gordon. Holdfast says, yeah, Jimmy Johnson has Todd Gordon, and I messed up. Ryan Preece has Chad Johnston. I think Chad and JJ were just good together, in my opinion. Not one better than the other. Yeah, like I said, it's a team. Like I don't get it, but everybody always asks that question, so it's a fun debate that people like to have. At the end of the day, team sport. Let's see. At the time that they were good and they got along, they were unbeatable. Then they're just, everything has a shelf life. There became too much friction, and they had to go their own way. In the famous words of Fleetwood Mac. Fleetwood Mac? I think that's Fleetwood Mac, isn't it? You can go your own way. I think that's Fleetwood Mac. Escobar says Chad got away with bending the rules with success than any other crew chief in his time. I know all the crew chiefs bend the rules, but he was able to make his car the best. Yeah, he was the best cheater of the era of cheating. So let's just call it like it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way it was back then. Not on topic, but first time turning into the live show, and it's great, mate, says Lindsey Weston. I appreciate it. It's always good to have somebody new watching. We appreciate you checking us out. Where are you from, Lindsey, by the way? Let's see here, because that looks like I can't see it looks like a V8 supercar right there, or maybe a touring car on your profile there. Unpopular opinion, I wish Ford and Chevy would stop using Camaros and Mustangs. It's the only cars they got left, though. And Chevrolet's about not to have that left. So I don't know. Jimmy and Chad made each other look good. I think so, too. I think it was a team deal. But right now, Chad Knaus getting the slight edge at 54%. Ain't cheating if you don't get caught, says a DW quote, says Bumblebee. That's a fact. Chad was the modern day Smokey Eunuch. He understood the rule book like a good lawyer, knows the law. So that's a good point. You don't race the other drivers. If you're building the car, you race the rule book. So a lot of really smart people that put cars together will tell you that all day. I agree with Ford and Chevy need to stop using the street car, Camaro, and Mustangs. I don't know about that. I just don't know what else they would. What are they going to race? Suburbans and Expeditions, because that's all they make over here. Yep, you summed it up there, BB, says Stupid Roofer. Say Kyle Nakau, as a 24 fan, I would argue that Chad did a lot for Willie B. Chad got him to take things more seriously, would chew him up if he was late to the shop, and instilled good habits into him, and got his first win. So, I mean, there you go. And Jimmy Johnson, it wasn't a points win, but he did get a dual win with his other crew chief over there. So Greg Ives, I think. So they both had one win apiece without each other. One an exhibition race and one a where was Willie B's first win? 1.5, I'm thinking, but I don't know. Chad and JJ are both great. 7-time champs. Seven championships don't lie, says Josh Strickland. I agree. What car will Chevy race when they stop making the Camaro next year, says Escobar. The big rumor is they're going to call it the Chevelle, and it's going to be a hybrid or something like that. But that's just a big rumor, so I don't know. who wants to race a Focus or Volt or any other model of over a Camaro or Mustang? Just saying, says Rusty Beechwood. Yeah, I mean, I'm just literally saying I don't know what else they would race because that's the only cars that they make right now. I think Chevrolet still makes the Malibu, but I think that's getting phased out with the Camaro. If I'm not mistaken, Chad may have given Byron only one win together, but Byron improved a lot when Chad first joined him. Yeah, but I'm just saying that he didn't stack up wins like he was stacking with Jimmy Johnson. So the people that are saying Jimmy Johnson didn't do anything without Chad Knaus, that's the point I was making. Jimmy Johnson didn't do anything without Chad Knaus. Chad Knaus didn't do a whole lot without Jimmy Johnson either. Is the sub argument you can make? I'm not making either one of those arguments. I think they were both good at the end of the day. I'm just saying the people that like to argue that. The Dark Horse Mustang will be great next year, says Mark Barnum. I agree. Sometimes I got to play devil's advocate to get the other side of the story out there. Stupid Roofer says JJ84. Yep, no doubt. The Dark Horse Mustang is going to be interesting because are they getting away from Shelby? That's sort of my question. Are they sort of getting away from the Shelby brand? Like that's my question because I don't know. That was interesting that they're going to run the Dark Horse to finish up Mark Barnum's thought there. Lindsay Weston said, thanks, mate, from Australia, but I live in continental Europe. Spent some time working for an that's awesome, for an F1 team and some testing before I moved on to other things. It's a Group B rally car. Also, there you go, Group B. There you go. That's awesome. Looks like the Martini, maybe now that I say that, it looks like sort of the Martini old school paint job. But Group B rally, the best rally that there ever was, no doubt about that. That's awesome. So you follow a little bit of everything like I do. So that's pretty cool. I do mainly NASCAR here, but we do jump on to some other stuff on the live stream. So occasionally we get to that stuff too. Who's going to watch if they use the Chevy Malibu, says Escobar. I don't know. To be fair, they used to race the Chevrolet Lumina. So back in the day, I mean, there wasn't. I know a lot of people are Lumina fans. I was not one of them. Daytona for Byron's first win. Oh, so there you go, Daytona. So it was Daytona. Jimmy Johnson won a Daytona duel, and Chad Knaus won with Byron at Daytona as well. So they both got Daytona wins. Let's see here. Say Kyle, not Cal. Willie B's first win was the second Daytona race. Byron got his first win at the summer Daytona race. I'll never forget that now. 2020. I will never forget that. That wasn't written. Stephen D'Amelio Jr. says, I believe was Daytona or Talladega fall races. All right, so they were both Daytona, so that's even more interesting. They both got Daytona wins without the other one. So, like, no matter what they do, they're always linked up to each other. That's funny. If Jimmy Johnson goes to Victory Lane this year in select races, that has to be worth another 10% bump on the poll. Oh yeah, like so. I mean, the rivalry is still there, and now it's Hendrick and Chad Knaus versus Legacy Motorsport and Jimmy Johnson, because eventually, just because of the age of everybody involved, Jimmy Johnson is going to be the owner of Legacy Motorsport in the near future, or at least the controlling partner, if I had to guess. All the manufacturer has in the game is a front nose, a back panel, and a name, says Mark Wachowski. 100% right. That's 100% right. That goes all the way down from late models up in as far as that goes. Stupid Roofer, I'm telling you, those Fords are onto something. I don't disagree with you. I think they found something. A lot of people were talking about how they sounded a little bit different than the other cars at some of the tests too. The Chevy Malibu is apparently getting a new generation in 2025. Okay, so they're going to stick with the Malibu. They're going to make that probably a hybrid. Earnhardt won championships in Illumina. He did, and he was the only one that was fast in it, Mark Wachowski. Him and Terry Labonte sort of carried Chevrolet's butt through that Lumina era. That Lumina was an aerodynamic brick. But for whatever reason, RCR and Hendrick and Jeff Gordon too. Blind spot for Jeff Gordon because of the hatred back in the day. But without those three, Chevrolet would have been in rough shape because nobody else could do anything in those Luminas. Because those Thunderbirds and Tauruses were slicked back. But they did get it going when they brought the Monte Carlo back. So the Monte Carlo brought them back to some more wins. But yeah, Earnhardt, you could have put him in a Pinto. Or a Chevette. I guess we got to stick with Chevrolet there. You could have put Earnhardt in a Chevette, and he would have found a way to figure it out. Josh Strickland, what state are you in, BB? What part? Don't answer if you don't want to. Just curious. I'm in North Carolina. I'm right on the border between Virginia and North Carolina, so I'm like right there. So that's why South Boston, Orange County Speedway, and Ace Speedway, when we do the local short track stuff, is 100%. They're just closer than anything else, so that's where most of my short track stuff goes on when I'm helping other teams. Lindsey Weston says, "Yeah, mate, I knew it. You had a deep knowledge." Bo disrespect, but many of YouTubers are focused on NASCAR coming from ball sports. Yeah, for sure. But racing is racing. Group B was awesome, impressive. Yeah, I've watched a lot of like documentaries on Group B, and some of the old on YouTube. They've got some of the old races. But yeah, Group B, and what put me on to Group B was I was watching Top Gear back in the day, and they were talking about the Group B cars, and I was like, that's badass because I just love that type of racing. Colin McRae got me into rally racing, but then when I was able to see the Group B cars back in the day, I was like, man, those things were crazy because they were just for those who don't know what I'm talking about. Group B, they took like a Ford Focus, what would be a Ford Focus or something today, but they would call it a Ford Focus RS, and they would just totally trick this thing out into a complete race car that you could buy, sort of like what Toyota's doing with the Gazoo Racing Toyotas you can buy. They would completely make these things basically a race car that you could buy from the factory, and that's what Group B was. And it just got so insane that they had to get rid of the group after a while because things were getting out of control. But Group B, really cool story. Check it out if you've never heard of Group B. By the way, I missed the Holden-based Chevy SS. Biased, says Lindsey Weston. Yeah, I missed the Holden Monero. I hate that you guys don't have Holden down there and have to run the Chevrolet Camaro now in supercars. But at least it's not the Buick Regal or whatever y'all had to run in between. So at least it is a V8 rear wheel drive. Let's see. Say Kyle, not Kyle. The baby is awake. I got to help the wife before the race starts. Appreciate the time, BB. Enjoy the race, everyone. Appreciate you, Say Kyle, not Kyle. Hope the baby stays nice and calm and doesn't cry when they wake up. Escobar says Dale Earnhardt is the GOAT. I don't think you'll get any pushback from that. And the poll is almost dead even now, 51% to 49%. Sonny V says update from the Italian Soccer League. Bologna won. I forgot about that. I did find that out the other day. There is a country in Italy, or not a country. There is a region in Italy called Bologna. So I'm gonna have to find like a jersey or something or a T-shirt or something of that. Like I didn't know that till the other day, but that's pretty cool. So we have a football team in Italy now, Bologna. I think it's Italy. Yeah, Italian soccer, Italy. So there you go. And we won today. We won. Yay. Let's see. Say Kyle, not Kyle, have a good one from Rich L. Thumbs up and cheers from Mr. Pearson. Stupid Roofer says there's something with those Ford engines. They sound different. They are high revving. Yeah, it sounds like they're finding a way to get into a higher RPM range. There's no doubt about it. My mom bought a Lumina when Earnhardt started racing them, traded it in for the Pontiac Grand Prix. She was a Petty fan, but jumped the fence for Dale. She had good taste in drivers. Hey, that's pretty much. I grew up a Richard Petty fan, and like I said, when I got that signed, I went to visit RCR, and Dale Earnhardt sent me a signed thing in the mail, a signed picture. He wasn't there, but he sent me a signed picture in the mail, and I became an Earnhardt fan and a Richard Petty fan after that. So pretty much, definitely good taste in drivers. And I bought a Jimmy Johnson hat his rookie year, and I was like, I'm gonna pull for this guy. Then I found out Jeff Gordon owned his car, and I was like, well, I can't pull for him, but I kind of like him. So I stuck with Harvick. Let's see here, Flyaway Duck Club. Thank you, love your channel. I appreciate it, Flyaway. Lindsay said, yeah, mate, I will miss the big Aussie sedans. New cars look like a Trans Am or Group 4. Bologna is where Lamborghini is made, I think. That's cool. That's cool. So it lines up motorsports wise too. It lines up really cool. So over here, just in case you don't know overseas, Bologna burger is something you get at the local short tracks that I'm around. Sort of like, I guess if you go to a football game in England or whatever, they've got the meat pies or whatever. It's sort of a thing there. So that's where the name Bologna burger came from. I don't think I've told people that in a while. So there we go. That's where the name comes from. Because a lot of people are like, why you call it Bologna burger and you talk about racing? That's why. Too many JJ fans hear that vote with their hearts and not with their minds. Don't take this comment as hate. Just having fun here, says Escobar. Nobody's hating. We just get here and have a good time. That's what we do. Just like kicking back and hanging out with the group. Let's see here. Jamie Schweitzer. Don't understand the question posted. who do you think was more responsible for winning those championships, Chad or Jimmy Johnson? I personally think it was just a team effort altogether, and I think looks like 50-50. So I think at the end of the day, that's what the poll is going to be anyway. Who was Jimmy or Chad? Says Jamie Spicer. Jimmy Johnson or Chad Knaus. Jimmy Johnson being the driver, Chad Knaus being the crew chief, basically saying who's more responsible for those 7 titles. It's just a fun thing. I personally think neither one of them would have accomplished anything without the other, or not to the level that they accomplished it. I'm not going to say anything. I've been a Ford guy since birth. My dad drove Thunderbirds since '58. He started out in a Crown Vic before the Birds. Hey, there you go. Crown Vic, super cool car back in the day. It became a police car over here, but the old Crown Vics were pretty cool. Thunderbirds, you either loved them or hate them, but it was Ford's version of a 2-door coupe, and they were always. I always really liked the designs of the Thunderbirds. They always looked really good, and they look really sporty on a racetrack too. Even as a Chevy guy, I was like, how come Ford always makes these good-looking cars, and we're stuck over here with the Lumina? I was so mad about that for a while because we went from the Monte Carlo. I guess what made it the biggest. It was just a big culture shift because the Monte Carlo that they got rid of for the Lumina was one of the best-looking Chevrolet race cars of all time. Then they went with the Lumina, and the Lumina just it didn't do it for me. But eventually they did have the Euro Coupe Lumina over here, which looked a lot better than the regular Lumina. Joey for the win says Auto Club said they're going to race today. Let's go. They're going to get it in. Stupid Roofer says, like and sub Jamie Schweitzer. Jamie Schweitzer says, I choose Jimmy. So there you go. Jimmy Johnson getting 1 vote on that one. I don't think you can go wrong with either pick. Like if I had to pick a driver, I wouldn't have a problem picking Jimmy Johnson. If I had to pick a crew chief, I definitely wouldn't have a problem picking Chad Knaus. So like I said, they're both winners. Ryan Fussner, if Evernham never left and the championship format never changed, Gordon would have won 8 championships and 100-plus cup wins. Yeah, so if you go by the old Latford system, which you can't do because people would have raced differently, Jeff Gordon gets 7 championships as well under the old system. Even without Ray Evernham, Jeff Gordon got the 7 championships under the old system. Rich L said, my dad's 63 and 68 was the coolest looking to me, talking about Thunderbirds for sure. And there was the one Thunderbird that was based off of the old Batmobile, the Adam West Batman. That was a really cool one too. My next door neighbor had one of those. It was in his garage and he was always working on it. I don't know if he ever got it running. I doubt it. But it was really cool to look at. It had a great shape to it. Jamie Schweitzer says, I missed your pick, your predicted winner today. I know I was 1 off last week, but sticking with Joey to win. So that's not a bad pick. My pick to win is actually Kyle Busch. Ironically, the number is just, that's 2 weekends in a row. But Kyle Busch, or 3 weekends if you count the Clash. But the numbers show Kyle Busch to be the best driver here. The second best driver is going to be Joey Logano. So it's shaping up to be, it was supposed to be Kyle Busch versus Toyota. It's shaping up to be Joey Logano versus Kyle Busch this year from what I've seen. Ford versus Chevy, whatever you want to throw in there. But Kyle Busch, and then I had Eric Jones as my sleeper and Kyle Larson as my picking with my heart there. Mark Wachowski, all the old Crown Vics were bought by young men that wanted to see how it felt. Oh, wow. I can't do that one, Mark. Let's see here. My brother had a 56 Crown Vic with 312 and 2 4-barrels and a 4-gear. The 56 Crown Vic was definitely one from the era I'm talking about. They sort of have like a 57 Chevy look to them back then, and then they just got more like progressively boxy after that. Lindsay says, I was going to say I thought it was neither Jimmy or Chad. It was the system. Edwards Gordon would have smashed it in the old system. Yeah, I think so too. And that's another thing. Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus figured out the system before anybody else. They figured out, hey, if you get a couple wins in the first half of the year, then you just do nothing for the rest of that year except R&D until the playoffs come around. So as soon as they got those first couple wins and knew that they were basically all the way locked in, they were like, all right, now we're going to R&D for the last 10 races. And they were the first ones to figure that out. Nobody else really figured that out to the extent that they did or went to the lengths that they went or practiced, to be honest, as much as they practiced. So that's where I say it was a team. It was a team effort, 100%. I agree with you. But like I said, pick either one of them. You're not going to go bad. And I agree. The old system, Carl Edwards, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, I think would actually have 3 championships under the old system. So there's a few things you can look at there. But I think Carl Edwards does. The year that he had the big, really close race with Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards would have won by a lot under the old system, or by quite a bigger amount than the tie they had that year. My uncle used to call them chicken hawks. Used to rev my dad's motor. Says Rich L. Kyle Busch, Joey Logano second. So Stupid Roofer's going with Kyle Busch, then Logano. OJ and Toothpaste. Will Ty Gibbs get in a fight with someone this year? Oh, that's a good question. He's feisty. So I wouldn't say it's out of the question. He's very aggressive. BB, do you think the Goodyear tire will hold up in 2023? Says free to pay. I hope it does. I hope I hope they've learned from last year. Let's see. Rich L. OJ, I don't like the Mighty Mouse. Gibbs could take on anyone in the Cup Series. He's just saying he's not really tall, so that's all he's getting. He's in good shape though. Let's see. I'd say he's probably. I'm 5'9". I've stood beside him before. I'd say he's probably anywhere from 5'6" to 5'7", somewhere in there. So he's not super tall, but not many race car drivers are. Mark Wachowski, Ty Gibbs will win at least one race this year. I will say Michigan. I think he does win a race this year too. I think Noah Gragson has a really good chance of winning a race this year as well. Timber race, tough to compare head to head between Chad and Jimmy, as Evernham, Gordon, and Chad learned a lot from previous Hendrick experience. Yeah, that's a fair thing, because without Evernham, does Chad Knaus learn anything? It's an evolution. It was just a really good team over there at that time. And then Evernham proved how good he was by going over there and starting up the Dodge operation. And the Dodge thing was going really good until it all, fell apart. OJ, I hope so. I'd like to see him mess up, get a butt whooping, says Josh Strickland. So once again, Ty Gibbs is another one that a lot of people don't necessarily care for. Lindsay says, have to go. Wife made dinner. We'll catch up later. Well, have a good dinner. Thanks for hanging out with us, Lindsay. Stupid Roofer, 2014. Ty Gibbs couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag with scissors in his hands. Says Epileptic Bumblebee. Cassandra Keller, Ty Gibbs will get a talk on pit road from older Cup drivers. Yes, for sure. Yeah, I think there will be some type of controversy at some point. If you don't count sucker punching someone in his helmet with his helmet still on, fighting, he's 1 for 1 though. I don't know if they let it go. Sam Mayer was going for the takedown, which is the only thing you can do with someone with a helmet in that situation. So I don't know. Once again, I would like to point out, I don't want to see any fighting on pit road this year. How about that? Like that's where I stand on it. Sad is it's basically assault that doesn't get charged, but whatever. Sad is so hard for some to not add negative comments, not pertinent to the conversation. Yep, that's the problem with going live sometimes. Sometimes not everything is kosher. Ty is the age and size of a child. Grown men race in the Cup Series. Would love to see him square up against 6'5" Austin Cindric. I don't know. Race car drivers fighting is not really going to be that entertaining. I'll just tell you that from a long experience of being in race cars, watching race car drivers fight each other. Lindsay says, yes, also would have been really different for sure. Talking about the points format and stuff and like that. Ty will win a race, says Stupid Roofer. I think he's got a good chance, no doubt. I think Noah Gragson has a good chance too. Noah will win a race. He was good at Daytona, says Mark Wachowski. Do you think Rockingham open house on Saturday, March 4th would be worth the time? If you've never been, I think it would definitely be worth the time. And if you just want to do something fun, I think it would definitely be worth the time. But back to Mark here. I definitely think Noah has a good chance at tracks other than a plate track too, 100%. Rusty Beechwood, it's okay, Jamie, let it fly. Cassandra Keller says, good day, mate. Epileptic Bumblebee says, he's a great driver. I won't lie about that. Yeah, Ty's good. He's a solid driver. I think Noah's a good driver. He's a solid driver too. It's going to be hard to win in your rookie year, but I think both of those guys have the potential to get it done because I think they're going to put an extra level of pressure on themselves to beat the other guy. So I think they're going to go super hard this year. If Ty was the one, I want Noah to win too. I just want to see a close Rookie of the Year battle for once. Same here, Sky Talent. I agree with that 100%. A real tough guy when you see him wearing a helmet, he starts throwing hands, says Sonny V. Stephen D'Amelio Jr. says, peace to everyone. Going to check out. It's race time, my friends. Yeah, so they are about to start the official pre-race. So I'll answer these last four here, and then I'm going to hop off myself. If you take your helmet off to throw fisticuffs, you will lose, says Mark Wachowski. So, yeah, from a tactical, so here's the deal. If you're looking at it as a fair fight, yes, everybody takes their helmet off. If you're looking at it as real life, in real life, you can ask anybody that served. There's no such thing as a fair fight. So you use every advantage you got. So if the other guy takes his helmet off, leave yours on. And the best advantage is to just stay in the race car at the end of the day. Bumblebee says, Jamie, we're grown men and women. We'll say what we want. Yep. It's all good. Well, let's not devolve into this. Let's see here. I want to see more fighting on. Mark Barnum says he wants to see more fighting on pit road. Rich L says, Sonny, I always wear my helmet around my wife when she's having a bad day. So there you go. That's for sure. And that's it for everybody. Cassandra Keller saying deuces and have a good day. Ryan Fuster saying deuces and have a good day. And so that's it. With that one, I'm going to leave y'all to it. So check out the pre-race. And that's all for this one. Thanks for your time. Peace.